Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's show. How's everybody on the panel doing tonight?
Great.
Well, if I'm talking like this, I don't know.
You sound like you're missing something, Jim.
Just missing the joke, I guess.
Hey Hank, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. All right, let's see who we got in chat so far. We got Wendy O, Mrs. Tom. Warren won't be joining us tonight. Arby, Greg Jonick, Kate, Connie Super Necessary BS Detector, Peter Vandervliet, Turbos, Sue Bear, a Magma, Mike 71, Debbie Edward, Trinity McIntyre, Lori Marie, Cicero Lipschitz, Doomy, Cracker Rob, Carriod, Abby Pollen, Justin B, Jam and Jet, Colin Gossage, Gia, Leanne Hubbard, Dennis Farmer, Nicholas Morris, Sparky 1982, Mel Roden, Flagman Dan, if I missed anybody, I apologize, but everybody, welcome to the show. Hope you all enjoy it. We got Chili going live tonight that we're gonna take a look at. First video we're gonna show is on what's his name? DirectD?
Yeah, DirectD.
Yeah. And his insanities.
Cup Dog has been banned from this channel, and my camera is blurry again. Give me just a second.
After what Coke Dog did to the castle, yeah, gonna be a while. I think, Hank, you still want to shoot him on sight, don't you?
Got an M134 ready for him.
Or Coke Dog. Huh. Well, we've got chili coming up. We had chili from last night.
I thought the chili was from the video we got was from this morning.
I think it was very early. Which one do we have? The live stream, or did he do another video?
It was a live stream in his car.
Okay, then that was last night.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was still 7 o'clock-ish or 8 o'clock-ish on the West Coast. It doesn't go very long. And then DirectD, we'll get into that after the 4 more minutes, because that man's gone insane. I'm just happy I created a character for him in the character creator that I used to do the thumbnails on my site. You know, I did him like 3 months ago and forgot about it. And so now that he's breaking, I have all these captures of the character to put up to use with new news stories.
Oh, I think the thumbnail I did the other night's better character of Regan Benson than what you've got on yours, but hey.
Oh. It's similar in its own way.
The update on Shelley's copyright strikes is the ball's in his court. We're waiting on him.
We're probably going to go the whole 10 days. Probably getting close to by now.
I think so.
Yeah,
10 business days.
Okay.
It's not 10 calendar days, 10 business days.
And technically, doesn't he have to sue Dan within Wales for this to actually go through? Mm-hmm. Since the Welsh News Network is based out of Wales.
Yep.
I don't know. Does Chili need another lawsuit at this point?
He can't even keep track of the ones he's got.
He's got, what, 6? 5 plus Floyd?
Six include in whatever his name is in Dallas.
Well, technically, he doesn't have the lawsuit that he is the defendant in that he has to worry about because he did hire a lawyer for that one.
You mean the criminal case?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for those wondering, his next appearance, or the lawyer's next appearance, will be the 27th.
Isn't that the same day he's due with Blue Bacon?
Yep, but I believe his lawyer just has to appear in the criminal case. And just state if he accepted the plea deal or if they're just going to go to trial. And I'm assuming they're going to go to trial because this is Chili. He's not going to admit guilt. That would give him a criminal record. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Plus, it would kill his any hopes he had of his lawsuit.
Yep. But that lawsuit's getting bleaker and bleaker by the minute as we hit the 10-minute mark. Yay.
Yeah. Chili's not going to concede that it's getting bleaker and bleaker, though.
Well, I was reading it this morning because when we're on the air, we don't really get a chance to comprehend it as we're reading it. You know, when it comes out, Becca and I read it, but you don't sit there and examine it while we're reading it on the air. And they pointed out that he's changing his story in every reply. He's contradicting his own First Amendment complaint in these new responses. So he's contradicting himself throughout it and doesn't have one set of facts. So what is he, I know he wants to do a Second Amendment complaint if it doesn't get dismissed. But even then, I think he's just going to keep replying and making the story bigger and more grandiose.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage of Direct D's craziness.
On it, just 1 second.
I don't think they went public with what the plea deal was.
No, they did not. Other than Chili said in one of these responses that his lawyer wanted, or the deal was for him to plead guilty to something. They didn't say what the something was. And he's unwilling to do that, apparently.
Narcissist. It's the first thing I read. Good morning. There's coffee in there. I make you coffee. Oh, you got the notification on? What's up, folks?
Riveting.
Yeah, the start of his videos are usually pretty slow.
I know he couldn't wait to see me, huh? Somebody left a comment on here about 4 Mesa cops that like to talk about me and how they wish that they could catch me off duty and then they would do something, shoot me, and then take me to some burying grounds. I got some fucking news for you dumbasses that think that. I'm going to cut your fucking head off if you try to do anything to me. Just keep that in mind. You may not survive. You think you're badass, but you just may not survive. All you know is Christopher Ruff, the convicted felon. That's all you know. You may not survive.
Public threats on police officers. Why move?
Yeah, why this video is still up and hasn't been reported is beyond me.
Removes hockey mask. So I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story. That's kind of why I went live today. I kind of want to tell you a story of the downfall of the cop watching group in Arizona. So if you're interested in hearing about that on an early Saturday morning, I'm here to tell you. There has been a giant shift and breakup amongst all of the people that used to hang out in Arizona. All of them. You want to know why? It all started over a dead child in Tempe, Arizona. So some weak-minded individuals were out attempting to hold the police accountable in Tempe when there was a shooting that happened in an intersection, right? A car rolled into the intersection. A bunch of kids jumped out. Darian, SJD News, King George Wallen, West Side Accountability were all there. They all went over to this car and they saw some dead kid. And it really messed with their head for some reason. I mean, I've been doing this for years. I've seen dead kids, dead bodies smeared across the road. You know, a motorcyclist that got into an accident with his body here, his foot over here, and his head over there. That's not the first child I've seen dead. Like, I've seen the human body like get smeared by a car and take all of its skin and take the meat sack and just run it up the road where you would need a shovel. An ambulance and a fire truck ain't going to do any good, right? We've seen all of this stuff. It's expected. That's why the cops get fucked up in the head. It's not because their job's dangerous or any of that kind of mumbo jumbo. It's the shit that they have to see. The suicide victims, the crime victims, the rape victims, they have to see all this shit and deal with it, and it fucks with their head. That's why this job is not meant for a lot of people to be a police officer. Same thing with the military. You go into the military thinking that you're going to do all this cool shit, and then you go over there and you're fucking scared, and now you come back and you got PTSD for all the shit that you had to deal with that you weren't even aware that you had to deal with it. Same kind of concept. So these guys all seen a dead baby and it fucked with their heads, right? And they didn't like the way I reacted to it because it didn't bother me at all. Call me heartless, call me soulless. I don't care. I mean, dead people don't bother me, whether they're 5 years old or 55 years old. They don't bother me. I don't know them. I don't have any affiliation or emotion towards what's going on. I'm just here documenting the situation. That doesn't bother me. But that situation right there is what caused the breakup in Arizona. Why you don't see any of those channels out with me anymore? There's going to be a reason for that. You're all going to see them putzing around on their own. And I'm not going to be associating with any of them. Some of them take pleas, misdemeanor pleas. I'm not talking felony. Felony is a different discussion. But like the park incident where you saw us all get, supposedly trespassed from a park. Guarantee you most of those people are going to take pleas because especially Tempe Against Police Violence is scared to fucking death of going to jail for 30 days. They mentioned 30 days to him and he wouldn't stop mentioning it to me for 2 months straight.
Just to put it in context, these were people that used to hang out with him. Tempe Against Police Violence, I believe, was one of the little guys who was always with him. He bailed him out of jail a couple of times. In fact, he live streamed once on the way to jail just to get DirectD out because he had DirectD's phone. So these are pretty important people, or at least used to be pretty important people in DirectD's life.
Yeah. And wouldn't care how many dead bodies you see. If you're not affected by seeing dead children, something's wrong with you.
Yeah. He says he's been in jail for 7 years and he's seen the most horrible things out on the road. But come on. No one's not impacted by seeing something like that.
Straight. So he's worried. All these dudes are worried. Every time they get arrested, they're not interested in fighting their cases. They wait until they have court the next day to then ask me if I'm going to help them with some shit. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. We just want to go out and make money on you guys. Clown on me for wanting to make fucking money on YouTube. It's these other channels that are the ones out there trying to make money on YouTube that don't give a shit about protecting rights, activism, standing up for Constitution. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. So I just wanted to make all of my subscribers aware of what's going on since I'm the one that told you to subscribe to their channel anyway. I have, over the last 2 years, figured most of these people out, and they're not about it. They're not about it. The moment they catch a charge, they're done. Spitting Cobra is a good example. All of you know who Spitting Cobra is, right? You know, he took 2 pleas for both of the arrests that he had.
Never heard of any of these other people that he's talking about, but okay.
Yeah, I guess they're big in the auditing community.
Alrighty
I
then.
think I've got a couple of them on my server. We follow them, but they don't put out anything really of note. Occasionally they'll do an auditing video here and there or go live, but it's really, a lot of them are like what DirectD usually does. If you don't watch him live, then you don't watch him because he'll private it immediately afterwards. So it's hard to keep up with some of them when they're going live at 2, 3 a.m. Eastern, when I'm trying, either just getting up or in the middle of trying to sleep.
Right? He never fought either of them. The one that he ate in Mesa, he agreed to be on probation and agreed to not film the police. Do you know why? Does anybody know why? Well, I'll kind of tell you why. Well, his lawyer, who was my lawyer at the time, told me that there's a reason that Spitting Cobra is going to be taking these pleas, and it has nothing to do with his guilt. It has to do with his past. That's coming from his lawyer. Spitting Cobra's lawyer told me to look into Cobra's past. There's a reason that he's taking pleas and he's not willing to fight it, even though he paid for a lawyer. We should ask him that. What's in your past that you've got hidden that you don't want anybody to know about, homie? Spitting Cobra. We should all look into that motherfucker. There's a reason that he sucked the dick and took a plea. On a misdemeanor charge, dude. Fucking dumb. Most of these channels are cowards. They're followers. They're not leaders. I haven't really wanted to go live on my channel and badmouth anybody, but since these people are in Arizona and they're attempting and portraying themselves as constitutional activists and stuff, I think, and part of the reason that I told you to subscribe to their channel, it's my responsibility to tell you that they're not about this shit at all. Why do you think I'm the only one that's been going through court cases for years? I'm the only one. These motherfuckers only want to go out and hang out. When it starts getting real, then we don't hang out anymore. Now we all just go out and we do our little dumb shit. So that's what's going on in Arizona. The Arizona Cop Watch crew is a fucking joke, you guys. The only people that are about it in Arizona, Tucson police suck, pigs under pressure, reluctant prophet. Who else is about it? That's it in Tucson, as far as I know. If I'm forgetting anybody, Tucson Toe Tag, he's a cool guy. These are the guys that are about it. These are guys with cases that have been doing this for fucking years that are fighting the system. They're not, just going out and having fun and getting scared when the shit gets real. So we got a bunch of cowards in Arizona is the problem, is what I'm understanding. And I'll openly say that on my live stream to 687 people. And I'm going to leave this up today so everybody that's on my channel can fucking watch it, because I'm just tired, dude. I'm tired of being the only one that actually gives a shit about what I'm doing. And then all the other channels, the media corporations, everybody doesn't give a fuck. So suck my nuts, YouTube, and all you other fucking fake ass cop watchers. That's how I feel. I'm over it. I'm tired of dealing with crybaby little bitches that, going, oh, I gotta do 30 days. Bro, get the fuck out of here with your 30-day shit. I did 7 years in prison, and anytime you guys whine about having to go to court, I just think it's fucking hilarious. So suck it easy. I'm done hanging out with and doing anything with this Arizona crew that ain't in Tucson, because I'm moving to Tucson. I am moving out of Maricopa County. You're going to have to involve another county to come and get me, suckers. That's right. I'm not going to court on the 6th. Not going to court on the 6th. I'm moving out of the...
Yeah, to give background on this, What happened this week was he had a bunch of hearings come into one hearing. This is the guy who has been doxing his lawyers, his public defenders, to the point where he's gone through 3 or 4 of them, and the judge finally said, if you're going to keep doxing him, then you don't deserve the right to have a public defender. He appealed that to higher court, who sent it back down, and he had he had the sentencing being found guilty or something this week. But afterwards, he immediately again had his fans call Flood, the judge, asking the judge why he's a Nazi. And then the Frog reported that the judge put a new show cause hearing on the schedule for July 6th, 2023. Gee, I got it right this time. 2023, not 2026. And so he didn't specify that it's contempt of court, but DirectD is freaking out like it is contempt of court, saying that a municipal court cannot file contempt of court charges in the state of Arizona, which again, Frog pointed out that he was totally wrong about that. So now he's just going to skip town and not go to this hearing.
Yeah, the hypocrisy of criticizing somebody for taking a plea deal to avoid 30 days in jail when he's going to skip town to do the same thing.
And I'll tell you, you and I were talking about this earlier. He just threatened to kill police officers. You think they're gonna just ignore him if he skips town? I just don't see him getting away with that. I think they're gonna bring his ass in if he doesn't go to this hearing.
And if he's just the next county over, I think you got to go a little bit further than that to. Okay.
Maybe to Texas, maybe to New Mexico, maybe out of state. Because if you're saying you're cop killing in Arizona, they're going to find you. That's just the truth.
To involve another county to come and get me. I'll be in Tucson. That's Pima County. Let's see if the sheriffs in Pima County wants to involve themselves in Maricopa County's drama. Then we just make it even bigger, right? That's the goal. So I will be in Tucson, Arizona, in Pima County. That's where I'm moving to. I'm not going to court. All you fucking clowns that say, oh, you're going to go to jail. I'm not going to jail, sucker, because I ain't going. I'm not turning myself in. I'm not agreeing to be on probation. Fuck the Nazis. I'll be in Tucson. What's up? Not going to court. I'm not surrendering myself. I'm not acquiescing to your fucking jurisdictional bullshit anymore. Suck my nuts. Come fucking get me. And let's include more jurisdictions to make it even worse. Let's include more jurisdictions. It's already Maricopa County. We're centralized in Maricopa County, but now I'm going to move to Pima County. We'll see if the Tucson police and the Pima County sheriffs want to fuck with me.
Well, when you do videos explaining that you're running to avoid the charges, thank you.
And I'm sorry for pointing this out. I know after my picture was exposed last week, I have nothing to say about anyone. But he looks like Oscar the Grouch. Just the eyes and the face. I can't stop picturing Oscar the Grouch.
Alrighty.
Once you see it, and you can't unsee it.
A joke either. There is a friend of mine that is getting his reciprocity in Arizona. If you guys don't know what that is, that's a lawyer that went through the Supreme Court, did his fingerprints, references, bar certification, bar disciplinary record, and is going to be a certified attorney in the state of Arizona. So when that happens, I will surely be getting arrested and let all this play out so we can go to court with a lawyer. But basically, that's what's going on. If any of those cop watchers are watching my channel right now or you watch this later, fucking eat this, you pussy motherfuckers. Grow some balls or delete your YouTube channel. You're going to see dead people. Get the fuck over it. Go to every single person's funeral that died if that's how you're going to be. Don't just go to one kid's funeral. Go to every single person's funeral that you show up that died on a traffic accident or while you were cop watching, because then it would make sense to me. Go to every single funeral if that's serious like that. Holy shit, and ask for hugs on the way there.
That makes no sense.
You sensitive fucking chicken shit motherfuckers. Yeah. I'm tired of the cowardice. I'm over it. I tell you right now, any of you cops watching, you think you're going to pull some shit with me, I'm going to fucking smoke you before you even get a chance to do it. Better hope that you're doing what you're doing legally, because if you're not, I'm not playing no more fucking games with you. Watch.
Well, any interaction with you being a known fugitive's going to be given him reason. Hey, Frog.
Hey, Frog. Good to see you.
Hey, Frog.
Yeah,
And
he's sick of the cowardice, but he's being a coward and running.
And Sue Bear, I apologize for bringing Oscar into it, but once you see it, you can't unsee it.
What's up, K-Far?
Well, it's 7:01 and no chili, so you were right.
Nope, he's
Yeah.
not live yet.
What's that?
Nope, he's not live yet.
Well, I did find that Darwin Awards video that can use the palate cleanse in between Direct D's and Chili's video.
Okay.
Time, natural selection takes its toll and omits the dumbest people from the gene pool. It's not great news for the people whose head whistles in a crosswind, but for us, it's fantastic, as we can keep entertained by the amusing tales of people with a room temperature IQ who perish due to a lack of intelligence. Let's get to it with more Darwin Award winners. Number 16. Death by Beard. Hans Steininger served several terms as mayor of the small Austrian village of Braunau-Emmen. He had a 4.5-foot long beard, which he kept neatly rolled and stuffed in a pocket. When a fire broke out in his village in September 1567, Steininger found himself at the center of panicking townspeople. His beard loosened from its pouch and unraveled as he tried to suppress the commotion. Steininger was too rushed to re-roll his beard, so he pushed it out of the way. His decision proved to be fatal when he tripped over his beard at the top of a flight of stairs and tumbled down the steps, breaking his neck along the way. Number 15. Crushed by a cactus. One day in 1982, two young and presumably bored roommates named David Grunman and James Sukochi decided to wander the desert near Lake Pleasant, Arizona, with shotguns. During their walk, Grunman opened fire on a 10-foot saguaro cactus. It quickly toppled, and Grunman then shot 2 rounds into a 27-foot tall cactus, causing a large and heavy arm of the plant to fall off. Grunman was crushed to death by the spiny saguaro arm. Saguaros are only found in the Sonoran.
Oh, my skin's crawling right now. Just the
Yeah,
thought of it.
right. I mean, those cactus are protected for a reason. And you just go and shooting them for no reason with a shotgun because you're bored. Karma's a bitch.
Desert and are protected by Arizona law. In the case of David Grunman's unlawful behavior, he received a death sentence, courtesy of the cactus he shot. Number 14. Fatal Test Run. As the aviation age took off, a tailor named Franz Reichelt decided to pursue a dream that was far beyond the scope of his profession. In 1911, the aspiring inventor entered a contest to create a safety parachute. He created a parachute suit, which was a standard flight suit improvised with rods, rubber lining, and a silk canopy. Reichelt broke his leg during early tests and blamed the chute's failure on the short height he jumped from. After a year of lobbying for permission to test the parachute suit from the Eiffel Tower, Reichelt was given the green light. Police and onlookers expected him to use test dummies, and when they realized he intended to test the product himself, they tried talking Reichelt out of jumping. He was so confident in his parachute suit, however, he took the 187-foot plunge and died on impact with the ground. Number 13. Shopping Cart Catastrophe. One day in 2008, 18-year-old Cameron Bieberly took a joyride in a shopping cart that was attached to the bumper of a car. When the car hit a speed bump, the Florida teen was catapulted 27 feet and landed on his head when he hit the pavement. He died shortly after.
I was talking and my mic was muted.
That
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Billy's gone live.
Do you want to watch a little bit more of this and then catch up on his live?
Yeah, let's go ahead and finish up with this. Then we can watch Chili.
Okay.
Gives us
After.
That way we can do it at a faster speed instead of having to listen to them at normal speed.
Bieberly's parents became adamant campaigners against car surfing, a trend among teens that has become increasingly popular in recent years. Apparently, a growing number of today's adolescents and young adults need to be shown evidence of a tragedy to avoid dangerous driving behaviors that could kill them. Number 12. Motorcycle helmet protest death. In the summer of 2011, 55-year-old Philip A. Contos attended a protest against New York State's motorcycle helmet requirement. Around 550 motorcycle enthusiasts rode together without their helmets in a show of solidarity against the safety law. During the demonstration, Contos' 1983 Harley-Davidson fishtailed when he hit the brakes and he was thrown over the handlebars. He hit his head on the pavement and was pronounced dead at the hospital. The medical expert who pronounced Contos dead believed he would have undoubtedly survived the accident if he had been wearing a helmet. Abate, the organization that sponsored the ride, maintained their view that motorcyclists should have a choice of whether or not to wear a helmet. Number 11. Multitasking misadventure. 20-year-old Kalita Hicks was driving her 1986 T-Top Monte Carlo along a dark Kentucky highway at 3 a.m. one morning in August 2010. She had a passenger named Thomas May with her, and they decided to switch seats, and apparently saw no need to pull over. As Hicks attempted to climb over the T-top and into the passenger seat, her foot hit the steering wheel, causing the car to veer left. May grabbed the steering wheel and turned it sharply to the right. The swerving caused Hicks to be thrown from the roof of the car. She hit her head on the guardrail as she landed on the pavement. Hicks was flown to the University of Kentucky Medical Center and died during surgery.
USA, don't try to switch seats while you're driving. It's not going to end up well.
Yep.
Number 10. Self-decapitation. In 1995, a group of Polish men decided to measure their masculinity, and evidently their intelligence, or maybe lack thereof, by playing drinking games. One of the competitors amputated the end of his foot using a chainsaw. In an effort to one-up him, 30-year-old farmer Krzysztof Asninski swung the chainsaw toward his neck and cut his own head off. We all know that drinking games usually never lead anywhere good, but when it comes to winning the award for collective inebriated stupidity, this one's a no-brainer. Number 9. Party boat.
Okay,
then.
We thought that was going to turn out great.
Yeah.
2018, a 21-year-old man decided he needed more attention on the booze cruise he was on in Boston Harbor. So he decided to perform vertical push-ups on the railing of the ferry. The crew ordered him to stop, which he did briefly until they turned their backs. Soon enough, he faltered and toppled overboard. Several life rings were thrown to within several feet of the man, and a crew member got into the water within 5 feet to assist, but he was unable to stay afloat and eventually drowned. Number 8. Self-defenstration. A Toronto attorney named Gary Hoy was incredibly proud of the strength of the windows in his skyscraper. So proud, in fact, that he was known to show off the durability of his 24th floor office windows by throwing himself against them. One day in 1993, he decided to impress some incoming students by body checking himself against the glass. The first time, the window held, as it always had before. Hoy took another run at the glass, and it popped out of the frame. The lawyer plunged to the pavement below and died from his injuries. Peter Lawers, managing partner of the firm, told a local newspaper that Gary was one of the best and brightest. If that's true, I suggest you hire a different firm.
Get really.
Number 7. DIY death.
Hey, Shuggy.
Hey, gang, so I'm a bit late. Can I have a very, very quick rant, please? Men
Go
of
ahead,
a certain
Shuggy.
age and a certain body type should not wear lycra. There's a bicycle trip from London to Edinburgh, and they stop here for dinner on a Saturday night, and these men are all wearing lycra. Oh, you can't unsee it. I'm sorry, I had to have a rant. Forgive me.
So nothing was hidden from view.
Oh, don't go. Oh, God. Oh, Becca, you had to go
Snip,
there,
snip.
didn't you? Fucking
Snip, snip.
Crunch, crunch. Crunch, bloody crunch.
How
And
you
women
gonna
are so
say?
bad as well. Talking of this. Sorry, it shouldn't be allowed. It just should not be allowed. I'm sorry.
Okay, then.
Bloody.
Guess it depends on who's viewing.
Sorry.
1996,
Becky,
Mark
no,
Gleason
no.
made
So,
a
Shuggy, you're
last
going to
ditch
get a
effort to
lycra.
quiet
Sorry.
Shuggy, you're going to get a lycra kilt now?
Let's take a vote. No.
I'm sure we can
We
put
might get
together
like a
one
coffin
just
there.
for you.
No, get you a lycra coffin, though.
death. In 1996, Mark Gleason made a last-ditch effort to quiet his snoring, so his girlfriend, Tracy Lambert, could sleep. Doctors had told Gleason that his snoring, which was caused by sinus problems from a car accident, was incurable, but the Scottish couple were determined to get it under control. After taking a few sleeping pills and drinking some wine, Gleason stuffed tampons into his nostrils. He fell asleep on Lambert's sofa, and the next morning, she discovered his lifeless body. Gleason died from asphyxiation caused by both the tampons and the sleeping pills, which furthered his breathing difficulties. Number 6. Accidentally proving an accident. In an Ohio courtroom in July 1871, lawyer Clement Vallandigham argued that his client Thomas McGeehan was innocent of murder. McGeehan was accused of killing a man named Tom Myers during a bar fight. Vallandigham maintained that Myers accidentally killed himself with his own pistol. To prove it, he used an unloaded gun to demonstrate to the jury how Myers could have done this. That evening, the lawyer set a loaded pistol next to the unloaded one on a table at his hotel. In the process of demonstrating to fellow lawyers how Myers may have shot himself, Vallandigham picked up the loaded gun from the table and shot himself in the abdomen. He was mortally wounded, but his demonstration apparently worked, and McGeehan was acquitted. Number 5. Fatal nutrition. British scientist and nutrition fanatic Basil Brown consumed a gallon of carrot juice daily and 70 million units of vitamin A over the course of 10 days. The combination of toxins produced the same effect on his liver as alcohol, and he died from cirrhosis. When he died, his skin was bright yellow. While some people may not know how dangerous a vitamin A toxicity can be, it's common knowledge that overconsuming anything can lead to disastrous results. Number 4. Obvious but optional boundaries. In March of 2018, a New Jersey man named Anthony G. headed to his father's house to shovel snow from his driveway. Along the way, Anthony encountered a series of cones warning drivers of a downed wire ahead. He didn't want to waste time on a detour, so he proceeded around the cones. Anthony, who was employed as a New York City electrician and should have been well aware of the hazards of downed wires, paid the ultimate price for his foolishness. When police arrived at the scene, his vehicle was engulfed in flames and he was dead. Number 3. Daredevil Dummy. Wang Yangying was a famous...
I thought a vehicle was grounded and downed wires wouldn't really hurt it unless somebody tried to get out of the vehicle. I may be wrong. May be very wrong.
You don't know what the conditions were.
I'm sorry, what was
ahead,
that?
Hank.
I don't know what the conditions were. That maybe it was wet enough out to nullify the effect of the grounding by the tires.
And I was going to point out that we almost saw this with Glenn Serial just a couple of days ago, where he was standing right under the wire with the thing hanging off of it.
This Chinese daredevil known...
Sorry.
Yeah, that wire was thick enough, even if it wasn't live, if it fell, wouldn't have felt good to smack him in the forehead.
Known for his death-defying stunts atop skyscrapers. Some of his famed acts included doing push-ups on the side of a skyscraper, walking along rooftops, and hanging from high-rise buildings. Eventually, Yangning's risky behavior caught up to him, and he fell from a 62-story skyscraper. His body was found the next day, along with the camera that filmed him losing his grip. The moral of Yangning's tragedy is that there are much safer ways to gain stardom, success, and an adrenaline rush. Number 2. Crushed by car. When you're fixing a heavy object, don't sit under it if it's propped up precariously. One slight wrong move, and it's game over. Sarunas Masionis learned this lesson the hard way. In mid-2018, he attempted to repair his car while propping it up on a tire and a jack with a wooden block underneath it. The car crushed Masionis. His partner noticed he was blue, and a neighbor unsuccessfully tried lifting the car. Efforts to save the man's life were in vain, and he died from asphyxia caused by the fatal chest compression. Number 1. Wheelchair elevator tantrum. A wheelchair-bound 40-year-old South Korean man known only as Mr. Lee threw an explosive tantrum when he approached an elevator at a shopping center as the doors closed and couldn't get in. Instead of waiting for the next one, he repeatedly rammed into the closed elevator doors, and in an apparent underestimation of his own strength, thrusted them open. Mr. Lee fell into the elevator shaft and plummeted 19 feet to his death. Instead of cautioning the general public against the potential consequences of violent anger, shopping center officials promised to strengthen their elevator doors. So which of these stories do you think deserves the number 1 Darwin Award? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.
The bummer did it alive.
That was sad.
Alrighty. Yeah, so I figured I'd use that as a little bit of a palate cleanse of showing somebody even dumber than most of the frauditors.
Oh, God.
What's going on out there in the land?
What speed do you want me to put it on?
Is everybody in the room?
7
Do we have
times.
everybody here? We're starting a
Hank.
little bit
1.5.
4 minutes, 5 minutes late today. How is everybody doing? Happy Saturday to everybody. I feel absolutely amazing. Like I have a new lease on life. I have found out that I need everybody right now to hit the like button. I mean, let's hit the like button. It'll just take you 1 second. Just take your finger and then just slide down right here and hit the like button. Take your finger, just hit the like button. Hit the like button if you would, please. Everybody hit the like button. How is everybody? How is everybody? Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming over to the live stream. My glasses are a little dirty. I can't see, but I was trying to, it seems like we're always in a hurry to get to where we got to go. Seems like that to me. Let me text something to myself real quick so I can put it up here on the backdrop of this right here, bad chicken. this right here, Bad Chicken. How is everybody? I tell you, I couldn't be more filled with joy with some things that are happening, and a lot of it has to do with Team DLZ and the people who are on this team. And as we continue to climb and continue to get a bigger platform, the whole reason that Jeff Lloyd and I started doing social media 2 years ago was because we wanted to build a base of people who would be constituents, that would be voters for later on when we turn this ship to go into politics and where we have the executive power to change things from the top. So a lot of the joy I'm feeling. And then the second thing, does everybody hit the like button? Did everybody hit the like button? Chevy, did you hit the like button? Larry, did you hit the like button? Did you guys hit the like button? It'll just take you a second. Hit the like button. Hit it. Button. Hit it. Hit it. What's going on out there? What is going on? So we're going to cover a lot of things today. There's a lot of things to cover. Lots of things to cover today. This is going to be a good one. There's a lot of stuff here. Welcome to another demonetized Delete Laws live stream. Welcome to that, because I'm going to be showing you guys some things today that, well, YouTube doesn't want you showing what the state does to people in the streets. They don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. This is a DragonNet Transparency, everybody. That's her name right there. We're going to be covering a couple of DragonNet Transparencies videos. I believe DragonNet. It's not Dragnet like in the old 1960s TV series. It's DragonNet. Just make sure you guys know that when you talk about DragonNet.
And how long did it take you to figure that out, Chili?
Yeah, because he didn't figure that out right away.
And he still can't spell trifold.
Why do you say that?
On the scroll at the bottom.
Oh, sorry, I hadn't even noticed that.
He's had trifold misspelled on that scroll on the bottom for months.
He's only such a prune.
Going to do so many things today. I have a petition that I'm going to ask everybody to sign. We're going to cover DragonNet's videos. I got at least more than $100 right now from people who sent me money and put wheelchair on the donation line for Eric's wheelchair. We're going to cover a video of a 10-year-old girl getting put in handcuffs. So this is going to be quite a stream. And then we're going to cover another video where the copper, he doesn't like what's going on. And so he doesn't like someone filming him. So he just goes ahead and he knocks the phone right out of his hand. That's what he does. I don't know why he knocks the phone out of his hand. I don't know why he does it. I don't understand why he does it, and then I asked DLZ at DLZ, make sure you guys get over to the backup channel, Delete Laws Clips, if you would please. I asked DLZ to make a thumbnail for this live, and you guys take a look at the thumbnail and let me know what you think of this thumbnail. DLZ, you're awesome, bro. I don't know how much I love the thumbnail on this particular one. I kind of look like I'm a little bit or like I'm a little retarded, but it's pretty funny. This is pretty funny. I hope I can, let me cancel this and I'll get it. So before we get going, without too much Dan Fizzle, you can always find Dan in the comment section of Facebook on the cops pages, and he is lambasting those dirty coppers. He is lambasting. Charlie, go to your pillow. Go on. So how's everybody doing? Can you guys do me a favor? Drop down in the comment section right now where you're watching from. Just put down in the comment section right now where you are watching from. What city, what state, what town, what borough, what district, what county. Tell me where you're watching this live stream from. I really want to know, because I am in Las Vegas, Navidad. I love it. Back to the 702. It's 105 in the shade, and they're sipping on a lemonade. Oh, wait, I think that's the Phoenix, Arizona part of Sir Mix-a-Lot. You know who would know it? John Felix. John Felix knows these songs. I love watching John Felix's channel. He starts off by rapping or singing on every one of his videos. I absolutely love it. So Odessa, Texas is in the hizzy. What's going on? Michael's here. Your confidence is poquito. It's just poquito. Your confidence is poquito. Charlie, come here. Come here, buddy. I'll bring him up. Everybody, without further ado, we have the dog, Charlie. Come on, Charlie. Oh, no bone, just you. He, of course, as soon as I call him, he brings his bone over. But I wanted to get right into a couple of things. Yeah, John Felix is a really great channel as well. I want you guys to get into some John Felix if you get a chance. And so I'm going to start off with a DragonNet transparency video. DragonNet, will you do me a favor? Will you drop down in the comment section which video you wanted me to cover? DragonNet transparency, who is massively undersubscribed. I don't know why. She digs out the body cam footage and she shows the body cam footage that the coppers don't want you to see. And that's what she does. And she does it consistently. And I don't know why she doesn't have 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 subscribers. But here's her YouTube channel.
So she requests the body cam footage and gets it.
Huh.
Yeah, weird how that works.
Exactly.
Although
couldn't get that.
all the footage he's shown of her before is just her covering news outlets coverage of these events, but okay.
But she doesn't cover them, she just shows them. She makes no commentary, no nothing, does she?
Nothing on what he's shown over so far.
Officer involved shooting. They entered the home without a warrant. So let me see what you guys can see, because sometimes it just gives you guys a tiny little screen. And here's the link to DragonNet Transparency's channel. I'm going to cover DragonNet Transparency's channel today. There is the link right there. Did everybody hit the like button? I don't know. There's only a couple hundred people in here. Did everybody hit the like button? Did you take your finger? Like button, like button, like button. Did you hit the like button? What's going on? Man, I was doing so look, what apparently it seems as though I worked myself into complete and total exhaustion is what happened. And so I literally have been told that I've got to stop working so many hours. So along with that diagnosis was that I got my blood pressure down, but then it wouldn't go below 150. And so then I laid down for 17, 18 hours and my blood pressure went to 131/78, which is almost normal. And so what that tells us is that I'm working myself to the bone, much like James Polk did, who was president of the United States and also was one of the most successful presidents of the United States. But that's another conversation. So
he's trying to use the excuse that he was 17, 18 hours on his back being lazy. He's trying to say it's for his own health.
I guess.
And sleep is not the only thing that can affect your blood pressure, Chili. Being overweight can too.
Press X to doubt.
what's going on, Richie?
remember-
What's going on? How is everything?
I'm sorry.
Remember, he's down to 199 now.
Shit, that's more than me.
Mhm.
Everybody, delete Laws clips. Cheeto on Kratom, one of the loveliest individuals in the chat, as usual. Good to see you. Action Jackson is here. What's going on, Action? Carrie, what is going on? What is going on? Carrie, I've been to a university. I've been to a couple universities. I went to a community college and I went to Arizona State University. I didn't graduate. I don't have any degrees. There's no great, pedigree. I don't have an institutional education. I'm what you call autodidactic. I learned online. I learned by auditing classes that are institutional classes. And I learned in college. I went to college for 5 years. And then I just continued to learn after I got no knock graded by the coppers. And so, a lot of my materials that you can get on Delete Laws, or the trifold and the poster and the ebook, a lot of those cases in there, I just put it together. What was that guy who used to do The Office where he put all the things on there?
College also helps you to read and comprehend what you're reading, Chili. Maybe you should have taken that class as well.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Like you have to understand something. Like I'm here on this channel and I broadcast live for people who have experienced a lot of the pain and suffering that happens when you back to the blue and then it happened to you. I'm not really here to win anybody over. So if you feel like, I need to prove myself to you, or you need some validation as to who I am, or you can't put me in a liberal or conservative box, it's probably the wrong channel for you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's not here to win anyone over. Yet his stated aim a moment ago and for months was they were going to turn towards politics and go for the executive. Surely you've got to win people over to get elected. I mean, just saying. That's a thought.
Oh, scoot along, little doggy. Scoot along, scoot along, scoot along. So I literally have come to the conclusion that I've got to slow down a little bit. I can't work for 20 hours a day. If you're going to contact me, whether you're my friend or foe, try to contact me within business hours. And after business hours, I'm not going to respond to anybody. I'm going to center myself and center my peace. I'm going, whoa, ah. I'm going to slow myself down a little bit so that I don't run myself into the ground. That's apparently what I did. I ran myself into the ground by working for 20, 21 hours a day for a month straight. I ran myself into the ground. So I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't. So yeah, if you're here looking, someone said, where are my degrees? I don't have any degrees. If you need validation through Indiana University or through Yale or Harvard, I don't have any of those. I've been very upfront about this since I started on TikTok, Rick Rock, in 2020.
It's not validation. It's proving that you've learned enough to get a degree so that you can actually get a good job. Maybe a little bit more than that, more money, less grifting. It's not just 5 years in college. He should at least have something other than wasted money.
At least an associate's degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So that's everything about me. That's everything about myself. And then, of course, to the people here like Gloria and Chevy and Hi Malone and Action Jackson and Keto on Kratom. What's going on, my friend? What is going on? Oh gosh. So, and then someone said this right here. Is that a Karen? Hey, Karen. You need to lay off the party favors. Party favors, I think you're referring to drugs. I don't do any drugs. Like, I even quit smoking weed. Like I don't even smoke weed, but I think I'm going to start back up because it helps me go to sleep at night. It also makes me relax a little bit. You know, there's all kinds of things. Dan Fizzle with the OTVO. Thank you so much, Victor.
He just said he was on his back sleeping for 17, 18 hours. Why does he need weed to help him sleep?
Huh. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
I got the new trifold rubber band and all of, even though I don't want to be pulled over. Of course you don't want to be pulled over. Nobody does. But you should have the trifold in your car. You should have it in your car. You know, and so, yeah. Yep. So if you're part of Team DLZ, can you type down in the comment section? We don't stop. 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 And let me text Dragnet Transparency real quick here. Let me airdrop this bad chicken real quick. I'm going to airdrop this bad chicken so you guys can see this thumbnail. This is great. This is a good one. Because, you know, covering some videos. Okay. I look a little retarded in that. I look a little bit retarded. So is it Dragon Net? Is that what you're saying? Dragon Net? Dragon Netty? Dragon doo-doo? Okay. So Dragon Net, which one? Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to smoking the weed, to be honest with you. I've been clean for a month, and I think I'm going to go back to it because it really, you know, at first I used to think it was a cop-out or an excuse because everybody like needs a beer or a toke before they go to bed and helps them unwind and stuff. And I thought to myself, you know, that's a cop-out for a reason why you can't get another 2 or 3 hours of work done. And what it ended up being for me was that I quit that weed. It was never a problem, but I just was like, you know, I'm just gonna stop smoking it because I don't want to have a cop out where I smoke weed to go to bed at night or anything like that. But then what happened was I literally took advantage of those 2 or 3 hours of more work. And then that 2 or 3 hours would then extend into 6 or 7 hours. So pretty soon it would be 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was going to bed at noon and waking up at 3 p.m. And I did that for like a month. And I literally had physical exhaustion and it knocked me down for 2 days. Like the live broadcast I did last night, I had taken almost full 24 hours of just laying down. So, you know, that's not, I wish I smelled weed, Chevy, but I don't. I do not smell any marijuana. I do not. Thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it.
So I'm trying to put together.
Thanks, you protest too much.
Yeah. He's doing the same exact thing now over the last 30 days that he did while he smoked weed. I haven't seen any change in the amount in the work hours that he's putting in, like auditing in the middle of the night. He's still doing all of these filings or having someone help him with these filings. Nothing has really changed.
Nope.
Unless it's all the back end stuff that he's going to do during business hours, not 24/7. I don't know.
Dan said that in his live last night, he claimed he never smoked weed in his life. Well, we all know that would have been a lie the minute it came out of his mouth. We've seen him smoke weed.
Yeah, I think he was joking.
Yeah, probably. Or trying to reinvent himself yet again.
Kind of is like when he says that he doesn't have a criminal record.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. Oh, what was that? What do we got? Anybody else? What is going on? Richie Bell is in the house. I'm going to read some OTVOs. The tribe is here. Les Paul is here. What's going on? So Dragonette, I didn't see which video you wanted me to share, but I think I'm just going to cover this first one right here. Officer involved. That's the one. At Dragonette just texted me. Thank you for the text, Dragonette. I appreciate it. So now let's take a look at her video. Can everybody get over to her channel and give a subscription? Can everybody get over her channel? She's at 1.92 thousand subscribers. This woman, she's at 10,000 subscribers. She's doing the Lord's work over here. She really is. You be the judge, justified or not. Okay. And this is the first video we're going to watch today. And this, here we go.
Great camera quality.
Hey, lady.
Even with blurs.
Get over here.
You're gonna get shot. Shoot me. You're not gonna work. No work.
Oh, I didn't realize. Yes, it is a body cam. I didn't realize that at first. I thought it was one of the auditors.
I don't know if they're blurring it on purpose or what. I've never seen a body cam get that blurry.
You ain't gonna work.
Why are they surrounding her house? I'm a little bit unclear what's going on. And they just start shooting, of course. Hey, YouTube, it didn't show any of the shots. It didn't show anybody get shot. YouTube, can you leave my channel alone, please? More shots. Keep on shooting, coppers. It's a lady in there, and she said, "Leave me alone. You better keep on shooting."
Depends on if they're shooting at them.
DCW said he's seen it, and there's 30 minutes cut out.
Yeah. I mean, we have no idea why this interaction began, so it's kind of hard to make any call.
Cops were called because the woman was Cops called because a woman with hammer destroyed a smoke alarm. They spent 30 minutes talking to her before this.
And
So if we have all this evidence, you ain't gonna work.
Jesus.
He's laughing.
She's not. I don't know if she has a firearm or not, but the idea is you're supposed to be able to have a firearm in your home to push away tyranny. And these are tyrannists. These are the tyranny at your door. Why'd they start shooting?
we don't have enough. We don't have enough of the background to know why they're there.
DCW put, she came at the officers with a hammer twice. First round of shootings missed her. Second round hit her and she passed. The 3 cops who shot her were charged with murder because the chief doesn't think this is self-defense shooting by cops. I wish I could see the full video instead of a pieced together part of it.
And if they did do wrong, hopefully the investigation proves that and takes care of the issue.
Exactly.
Hey, Glober Mom.
Approximately 12:27 a.m., officers were dispatched to the location for a vandalism incident where a woman cut wires to an alarm panel at an apartment complex. The caller provided officers a detailed description of a Hispanic woman that resided at the complex. Officers contacted the woman outside of the parking lot and identified her before she fled into her apartment, locking herself inside. Officers followed her to her residence located on the first floor.
Where she lives.
Attempting to arrest the woman, officers removed the screen to the window that was already open.
Why couldn't they wait outside if they knew she lived there? That means she has to come out for food or water sooner or later.
Officers observed the woman grab a hammer while inside her apartment.
She grabbed a hammer while inside the apartment. The hammer would have to go through a window at the very minimum to hurt the coppers.
And an officer drew his weapon and notified the dispatcher that he had her at gunpoint.
Because she has a hammer inside of her house.
Additional officers then made the scene. The woman, while inside her home, threw a glass candle at the officers.
She threw a candle at the wall that can't hit the cops through the window. She'd have to shatter the window. It'd have to go through the window to get the coppers.
Striking an officer.
You mean the open window? That doesn't even have a screen now?
It was like one of those Yankee candles, glass jars. That's dangerous.
Don't think it warrants shots being fired at her, but
No, police have to stop her, yeah.
I slightly agree. I agree. But we don't know what else happened.
Jim dropped.
A glass candle at the officers, striking an officer in the arm, causing minor injuries. Officers communicated with the woman through the open window for over 30 minutes.
Oh, 30 minutes is enough for your life to be ended. 30 minutes, that's plenty of time for you to decide if the coppers are going to kill you or not.
As officers jumped over the railing to the...
I mean, look at this. She cut some wires to the alarm system. She did something wrong. I get it, yeah. And look at these frothing dog animals. Look at them. Look at them. They got to get her. She cut some wires. You got to get her. And if she tries to defend herself from this, you better kill her.
Patio of the residence. The woman ran with a hammer in her hand, striking the window and shattering it.
She broke her own window. Kill that chick.
One officer fired multiple rounds towards the woman, but it did not appear she was struck by the gunfire. The woman moved away from the window, but then came back towards the patio door, still holding the hammer in her hand.
They were afraid for their life from a 5-foot-tall, tiny Mexican woman or Latina woman that she had a hammer. They couldn't have retreated. They couldn't have stepped back and let her calm down.
At this time, 2 other officers shot towards the woman, along with the first officer who fired the first round of gunshots. The woman.
First of all, Chili, we have already determined that even a small woman could probably kick your ass. And they're quite evasive when being when trying to be restrained.
A woman did kick her ass with one titty tied behind her back.
And we don't know who else in the apartment. We don't know what else is going on. Mind you, Hank, did it not appear that the number of rounds was slightly excessive to you?
About 5 rounds per, 5 or 6 rounds per volley. Doesn't seem like an excessive amount.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know how many cops were actually there either.
If all she had in her hand was a hammer, things aren't looking good for the cops, but
I'd agree with that. And if you back up about 5 seconds, it appeared one has a taser drawn. Which would have been better, wouldn't it?
Was struck by the gunfire and later pronounced deceased by.
This is ridiculous. No wonder why Dragonette reached out to me. Ridiculous. She's no threat to anybody. She's going through a manic phase. She needs to calm down. That's it. Instead, they murdered her.
EMS. No one other than the woman was injured by the gunfire. She was.
Kim texts me. Massive storm out of the blue. Internet is out. He'll be back when the internet comes back.
Okay.
Was later identified as Melissa Perez, 46 years of age.
So 46 years of life has ended because she's having a manic episode and she cut some wires. Obviously, she did something wrong. Sure, I agree. She should be punished for it if there's a punishment for what she did wrong. But you don't need to raid her home as though she's Pablo Escobar and been cutting the tongues out of people.
Here is body camera footage of the second officer at the scene.
Why can't they fall back and just wait for her to come out of her house? They know she lives there. She's got to come out sooner or later for food or water. Go, get over the railing. We have to get her. Watch out. She's throwing a candle. Quick, get your gun.
Here is body camera footage of the third officer at the scene.
This frothing dog has got to jump over the rail. We have evidence that you cut wires. Let's say she's guilty. She cut the wires. Let's say she did something wrong. She broke the law. We all agree. Nobody wants criminals. She did it. We know she did it. They got evidence she did it. Nobody's life is at stake. This is not exigent circumstances. This would not reach the criteria of Wilson versus Arkansas of 1995 or Kerr versus California 1963. There's no reason to enter into her home.
You ain't gotta work.
Murder. That's murder. She's got a hammer. They had to kill her because she had a hammer in her hand. Through the door and through the window. She couldn't have hurt them. She threw a
My mistake. There was 3 officers there.
candle through the window that struck an officer. How much did it hurt him? Is he in intensive care today? I hope he lives. She died. They murdered her.
Here is footage from another officer present at the scene.
Look at this rabid dog over here. Look at these dogs. They said we got a lot of evidence. Great, then have it out in a court of law. You coppers don't want me to beat the shit out of you on the streets, which I could do, but I couldn't because you guys would murder me. It's so funny. The cops don't want us to fight them, but they'll so easily invade our homes and murder us.
But who did not discharge their firearm.
Look, he's jumping over a railing because she cut some wires.
Oh, there's a lot more than 3.
I mean, look at them. They're chasing her down like she's Pablo Escobar. They're chasing her down like she's Ted Bundy. Get your guns out and shoot into her home. I hope they all get charged with murder, but we have a broken system. It won't matter.
Investigations into deadly force are comprehensive and can take over a year.
Investigations into deadly force are comprehensive. Honey, baby, we saw the video. We don't need a comprehensive year-long investigation. You put it a year away so the emotions die down and the family members, just so you know, when you die, people forget about you within about a year. They pour out a little liquor on the first anniversary of your birthday and then pretty soon, oh yeah, my uncle died 10 years ago. They just forget about you. You're just a thing of the past. They wait for so long for an investigation so that your family and your friends die down.
Reminder, this is our current understanding of the situation and could change as investigators gather more information.
Now, if there was less blurred, and it was, like Hank says, quite excessively blurred, even by far away officers, we might be able to see more of what she was doing beforehand.
Yeah, I just don't see anything to give an excuse for the force being used. if all she had in her hand was a hammer and threw a candle. Even if she threw a fucking bowling ball, it's.
Hank, in your opinion, would it change if they knew there were firearms in the house, for whatever reason? Would that? Do you think that would change the?
No. If she doesn't have the firearm, if she can't see the firearm on her, don't see the reason to open fire. But I wasn't there. I don't know the whole circumstances.
From what we've seen, I think it was over excessive. But
Yeah,
again, we don't know the story.
In this incident, the 3 officers were immediately suspended without pay, pending a full investigation.
They should be charged with murder. There's no reason to attack her house that way. There was no reason to jump on her back patio. There was no reason for her to have to pick up self-defense weapons against you. They did too much and they murdered her.
The department's current understanding is based on both the camera footage.
No, we don't need the department's understanding. We all have eyes. We all can see. You murdered her. That's what happened. We don't need you to explain away what murder is. She did something wrong. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Cutting the wires at your apartment complex is likely illegal. You damaged property.
Okay.
She did something wrong.
Chili, the police can't just let people retreat back into their homes whenever they don't want to be arrested. So police can't just stand by and do nothing. Doesn't mean they have to use deadly force like they did in this case. But they do. If you retreat back in your home when they're trying to effect an arrest, they should be able to go in and get you.
Welcome back, Jim.
Oh, that was fun. Rainstorm out of nowhere and the dish went out.
Hate when that happens.
She broke the law. I agree. I don't want a lawbreaker getting away with criminality. Nobody really does. As a matter of fact, there's studies that show in your neurology that you have pleasure in watching somebody who did something wrong be punished. That's a fact. It's a clinical fact. So nobody wants her to get away with breaking the law.
And information gathered from officers at the scene. All officer-involved shootings are forwarded to the Bexar County District Attorney's Office.
The Bexar County District Attorney's Office work hand in hand with the police every day. They're the cops' friends. The same Bexar County District Attorney's Office, is that the same place from Bab who pulled the guy over and asked him 40,000 questions that we watched from the Institute of Justice? And so now they turned the case over to the cops' friends. When they say they turned it over to the prosecutor's office, just change that to they gave it to the cops' friends to investigate.
For review. As of this publication, the investigation remains ongoing.
Now I see why DragonNet reached out to me. Now I see why. Now you know why we don't stop until we get to executive power. And look, you guys can see it. This channel and the movement is growing, and it's growing fast. And the reason is because every day when one of these losers comes into my chat and says, "Oh, he's picking on the cops," and he's got that cop stick all the way down his throat. He's picking on the cops, and then it just happens to your brother or to your cousin or your lover, or to you, and then that same bootlicker ends up subscribing later and saying, "Chili, I'm so sorry, I was so wrong. It's so terrible what the cops do to people." You watched a woman get murdered. Yeah, she broke the law. Does everybody agree that we don't want people cutting wires in their apartment complex that goes to everybody else's homes? We don't want that. So there's going to be some sort of law that she's charged with, and then she's going to get her day in court. But instead, they murdered her. And they suspended them without pay. Ooh, you suspended them without pay? But wait a minute. Are they still free to communicate with each other outside of that? Yes, they are. Are they still free to send text messages and emails to their friends at the Bexar County Prosecutor's Office? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Is the chief still going to go sit with the Bexar County prosecutor and say, "Well, our guys, she had a hammer and she threw a candle through the window"? And is the sheriff there? What was his name? Was it Bailey? Or was that a different?
By the news report, the sheriff is saying he doesn't believe his officers were justified. So that proves your argument is bullshit, Chili. And if civilians get in trouble, when you're out on bail, you have the right to call whoever you want to. But before they've got to investigate to figure out whether there was a crime and what happened.
County, is it Bailey? Is it Brian Bailey? I can't remember. The Bexar County Sheriff. Someone can look that up for me if you would. Let me know who the Bexar County Sheriff is. They murdered her. Like that was outright murder. That's what that was. That was murder. It was murder. And you know what? Here's the thing. Here, you know what I learned recently, just so everybody, if you're unfamiliar, if you haven't been around for a minute here.
Is he gonna call the head guy?
Probably.
Does he know which state this Bexar County is in?
Good point. He'll call the wrong one.
You know, I've got to make sure that I keep.
I know of at least 3 states that have a Bexar County in them.
I got to keep my emotional state a little bit more palated over here. So that makes me sick. I mean, if it makes you sick, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that's disgusting, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that's the grossest thing ever, put a 1 in the chat. That was disgusting what we just saw. There was nothing about that was respectable at all whatsoever. That was pretty nasty. That was pretty gross. And I can't believe that we're watching that. And that there were people who would say, oh, you know, Chili's such a bad person. He's so terrible. Look at him calling out.
It was so nasty and gross you couldn't help but laugh for your entire way through it. Oh, okay. That makes so much sense.
Hank, could it be Texas?
It could be.
Because the police officer who was giving the report is standing in front of a Twitter account that's SATX Police. San Antonio, Texas?
Yeah, Bexar County, San Antonio is Bexar County.
It's so Bexar County. And go on, sorry.
What are you saying, Hank?
Yeah, San Antonio is Bexar County, so it could be. I didn't pay attention to the background of the officer. Well, the spokesperson.
What a horrible. Person he is, saying how the cops would murder somebody. Just terrible. It's so frustrating. Like, it is so frustrating. Like, I just cannot even begin to understand how in the world this can be a thing that we see this happen.
But
Abby Pollen just said, this was San Antonio and the 3 officers been charged with murder. Which, if that's the way the investigation rolls, more power to them for charging the officers. I mean,
Abby, how long? Sorry, Hank, go on.
I mean, if they found that they weren't within the guidelines of their job and they crossed over to murder, charge them with murder.
they were charged on June 23rd. So, was that Friday? Yesterday?
Yeah.
Hang on, you mean Chili's covering a current case, not something from the archives? Or one that's
somebody else sent it to them.
True.
And that nothing is done about it. That absolutely nothing is done about it. So, I mean, and how do we redress them? How do we go at them? You know, I don't know how we go at them. I'm looking for that.
Abby said she sent you a link.
Handcuffs, but I don't see it in your studio. And I'm looking and I don't see it. I don't see it. It's not there. And I am indeed looking, but for some reason it's not there. So I want to show you guys another video. And this is where a 10-year-old.
Did you want to look at that? The news article? Do you just want me to read it?
Take a look at it while we continue on with the video to see if it's worth going through.
Okay. Little girl gets put in handcuffs by the coppers as soon as I can find it. That's not it either. That's not it. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys one more video from DragonNet Transparency here. And this video here, whoops, YouTubes. We're down on the YouTubes. We're having fun on the YouTubes today. And I'll tell you, you know, And just so you guys know, at midnight tonight, I will shut down this I'll shut myself down at midnight. I got to shut down at midnight from now on every single night. If I don't shut down at midnight every night, then I just end up having a hard time not getting myself in order. So I got another Dragonette transparency video I'm going to share with you guys.
The only thing that is different from what we've already learned is the statement by the chief. Their actions are not consistent with SAPD's policy training, and they placed themselves in a situation where they used deadly force, which was not reasonable given all the circumstances as we now understand them. He said that in a press conference.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need to see that in print then. Thank you.
I see her hands too.
You're welcome.
Keep your hands up. Keep your hands right there. Do not move.
Is this another person that the cops are so afraid of? They're so terrified.
Is anybody injured? Hey, why can't you get out of the car, man? Okay, we should have driven in the woods, but you can get out of the car. So you get out of the car now. You're not getting out? That's a bad decision. I don't care. Get out of the car now.
Another woman that the cops are deathly afraid of.
Keep those hands right where we can see them.
Look at this guy. Bro, you are a chump. You are a chumpzilla, bro. You really are.
Keep those hands right where we can see them.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I'm a cop in America, and I'm terrified.
Put them all the way on the roof. Touch the roof of the car. Yep.
Get your hands on the roof of the car, or we are afraid.
Unlock it.
But she's got to reach down to unlock the car door, and you coppers are going to be scared.
Unlock the door.
Look at the hands up in the air. These guys are still scared.
How about him? Let's go. Find out right now.
You hear the girls and the kids' voices in there? Look how the cops are acting. This has got to change. This is not going to work.
You do not give orders here.
Oh, listen to this, Pig. You do not give orders here. You do not give orders here. Obviously, Pig, you've never met me. I'm your boss, bro. I'll give you orders. You don't tell me what to do.
Fuck you, Chili. Fuck your little midget ass. Jesus Christ. You don't... Fucking Charlie doesn't even fucking respect your authority.
Charge of you. You work for me, Pig. You work for me. I don't work for you. There's a big difference between you and I. You're a beta male cuck. I'm an alpha male. Big difference between the two of us. Huge difference between the two.
Alpha males don't need to go around telling everybody they're alpha males.
I
Just
thought he was
saying.
I thought he was a Sigma male now. Is he back to being an alpha?
He's just magma male.
Two of us.
Do not freaking move.
Let's take a look at her.
Do not give orders here. Do not.
There she is right there. Did you see her? Did you see the woman with the hat on?
Freaking move.
Look at that. And there's a little girl right there, and they got their guns pointed, and they're dragging her.
Dude, you stay right there. Do not move.
Look how tight. There's not even a shirt on the person.
Stay right there. What are you doing?
Look at the legs on this human being. Look how small. I think my wrists are bigger than this person's legs. I guarantee you my shoulders and arms are bigger than this person's legs.
I'm not. Cover the car. Let's secure the vehicle. I know I'm not. Stand up.
And look at the copper, man. Look at this guy.
I'm a hell of
Look at the other person.
We have no.
Oh, so it's a dude. It's not even a chick. That's how young these guys are. Their voices haven't turned into male voices yet. They still have little boy voices.
I check the vehicle.
Oh my God.
So this guy's 21, 22. I mean, don't get me wrong. Men are 21, 22 are men, but he hasn't turned into like a man yet. So look at these guys. They look like hippies. Maybe
Why
do
is
drugs.
he
I don't
only
know.
wearing a loincloth?
21, 22-year-old men can still commit crimes, Chili. I have no clue, Hank.
But again, we don't know the context of this encounter.
Oh, just by the look of it.
Get her up. Come on, Daniel, ready?
By the way, that will rip your shoulder right out of the socket. Do you see that? This is in wrestling. This is illegal to do.
Come on, Daniel, ready?
Ready, and then doesn't let her get her hips underneath of herself. Just jerks her up by her shoulder joint.
Except the cop that has their hand on the belt helping pull them up too.
There's the thumb digging into her body. Oh, Jesus. Is that it, Dragonet, on that one? You showing? Is there another?
Stop the car. How about
What's going on?
I'm asking you how about the car? You took forever to pull over.
Why?
Huh?
Why? Why?
Huh?
Why?
What do you mean why?
I don't know. You talking about come out the car. Who what?
Leslie, step out of the car.
This has happened the other day, and the guy refused to get out of the car. If he gets out of the car, it's dangerous for him. If he gets out of the car, put a 1 in the chat. If it's dangerous for you to get out of the car, it's not dangerous.
Did you just call him by his name? Leslie?
I don't like it.
Oh, he knows the kid.
Dangerous for the cops for you to stay in the car. It's dangerous for you to get out of the car. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's dangerous for you, not for them.
When the cops are ordering you out of the car, it's dangerous for you to stay in the car. Because shit's not going to end well for you.
I'm telling you, Leslie, to step out of the car.
What I did, though.
I'm telling you to step out of the car.
What I did. So that's what happens. Pennsylvania versus Mims 1977 is the extension of Terry versus Ohio. It allows the cops to order you out of the car upon demand. If he gets out of the car, they're going to hurt him. They're going to put their hands all over him. They're going to put him in torture cuffs, which always are painful and torture. He's saying, why do I get out of the car? Because he knows he's going to be tortured the moment he gets out. They may even throw him on the ground and stick their knees in his back and in his neck.
Leslie, step out of the car.
What I did.
Get out of the
And he's saying, what I did. Probably didn't spend a lot of time in school if he's saying what I did. Probably not real highly educated. So he doesn't understand why he has to get out of the car because he didn't do anything wrong.
Why is he saying he's not educated? I've heard people talk like that have bachelor's and master's degrees.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to have to get out of the car, but the coppers are scared of him. They walk up on him, harass him, but they're scared now, so he has to do what they say.
The car. I'm telling you to step out of the car.
Why you talking to me like that? I don't got nothing, bro.
Step out of the car.
Bro, I don't have nothing. Bro, what you doing?
Step out of the car.
Bro, I don't have nothing.
Step out of the car.
Bro, I don't have nothing, bro.
Step out of the car.
All right,
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
I wonder why he doesn't want to get out of the car when they're screaming at him like he's a rabid dog. Ridiculous.
You just threw the bag on the ground.
Okay, so he did throw the bag on the ground. Let's say he's guilty. This isn't how you're going to solve the drug problem in America, by torturing people and arresting them.
Let's move those goalposts, Chili.
Yeah, and how are you going to stop the drug problem in America if people that are doing drugs illegally aren't punished?
Sprinkle a little crack on him.
You're going to get tased. Put your hand behind your back. Hand behind your back.
Now he's going to get tased. Now he's being treated as though he's a violent criminal. And even if he's sitting there doing drugs, even if he's doing wrong, he isn't hurting anybody else.
Put your hand behind your back. Do it now. That's what I'm going to ask you. Put your right hand behind your back. If you pull away, you're going to get tased.
I mean, look at this. It's just so. This system has got to change. And the only way we can change it is with executive power.
Give me the phone. Hey, go with the phone. You're going to get tased.
How many times have they threatened to tase him? And they got the taser on his back to hurt him.
Pull away one more time.
If you pull away one more time, you got 2 full-grown men that have your hands on him. How big of wussies are you guys? How much of an absolute wussy are you? 2 guys can't hold him. He's turned around. His back is to you. And you still are going to threaten if you pull away? What, you're not allowed to use a muscle in your body? You're supposed to just lay there like a limp fish?
Tased.
Well, what I did, sir?
It's a pretty good idea.
Do not win.
All right, I'm not.
Look, hey, I'm not playing with you, man.
Yeah, you're a beta male cuck. We know you're not playing beta male. This is the only way you have any power.
I'm not doing
Stop turning around.
Sir, I'm not doing that.
He's calling them sir. Boy, we're different.
You know, I had it all in his mouth and was chugging the drink.
Okay, so he had some crack. Let's say he's guilty of it. Who has he hurt?
Got a thing of crack on his lap.
Okay, he's got crack on him. We agreed. Nobody wants him driving and smoking crack. But you got him. You got him. He doesn't have a gun at you. He hasn't threatened you. Why are you treating him this way?
No, I did not, sir.
Stay
Because
facing
he's
the car.
non-compliant. Officers
Like to
get
see-
hurt all the fucking time from non-compliant assholes.
If this guy would be so easy to subdue, I would like to see Chili try. Because I don't think it would be very successful.
Oh, here we go. Stay facing. Oh, is he putting his thumb into his ulnar nerve right there? Is that what he's doing?
I didn't do nothing, sir.
Running red. You better hurry. They got a guy and he's got some drugs. You better hurry. Send all the cops there. All those salaries are going to compound right there on scene.
Can you hold him while I grab that bag?
What bad?
Hold him. He's not trying to run. And if he does, he's in torture cuffs. He's not going to go very far without his arms being able to help him.
You threw it right on the ground.
Bro, I don't have crack in my car, bro. I
It's
swear to
all
God.
over you.
Bro, I don't have crack on me, bro.
You don't crack on you? What's this, bro?
Bro, that is not crack, bro.
Meth?
No, that's nothing, bro.
Right, because you ate it all.
No, I did not. I didn't have no drugs on me, bro. We're going to jail because we told you to get out of the car and you didn't get out of the car. That's why
He's going to jail for Terry versus Ohio, extended into Pennsylvania.
Did you say that he didn't have that bag on him? How
Yeah,
would he
he's
know
going
that
to
it's not
jail.
crack?
Yeah, he's not going to jail because of Terry versus Ohio. He's going to jail because he had fucking drugs on him, and that's a crime. May not agree with it being a crime, but on the books right now in most states, having crack on you is a crime. And you don't fight it sit there on the roadside. That's what a fucking courtroom's for.
Versus Mims in 1977. He's going to jail because he didn't follow their lawful order created by the Supreme Court.
you going to jail for?
Yep, you're going to jail.
Man, oh my God. So come
Plus,
on.
Man, they're solving the drug problem right there. Put a 1 in the chat if they have solved the drug. They got him. It's over. It's over. Drug problem's over. We win. Drug problem's over. They got this guy. They're going to ruin his life, impound his car, take his money, make him a felon, and our society is going to be so much better. If you agree, put a 1. Society's going to be better now that these jackboot thugs got this guy, and they're going to ruin him. This is going to solve this drug.
Haven't seen anything that makes him a felon yet. That little baggies should not be felony weight.
And if he is sitting in a car doing drugs, then by all means, taking him off the streets is a good thing.
Well, they just pulled him over, so he wasn't just sitting in a car. He was driving a car doing drugs.
Drug problem too. From him getting arrested, getting a felony, his drug problem's going to go away. He's no longer going to be a burden to society anymore. These cops have solved everything, folks. That's it. Show's over. We're out of here.
What was that? Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave this for right now.
Oh, man.
That's crack.
Man, that's not crack, bro.
You got white spit?
Oh,
Hey, you got white
I
spit?
played it, bro. Like, bro.
Hey, look at that. You see how blue that is?
Bro, that is not crack,
That's positive
bro.
for cocaine. You see that, right?
Bro, how?
Leslie, you see this, right?
So this guy has a drug problem, and he's got cocaine or whatever it is down the front of his beard. They got the coke here. So this process right here, though, and this is what I'm talking about. You cannot declare a war on people and then decide that your war is going to solve their personal issues, that you've declared war on drugs. And so now each one of these jackboot thugs gets an accolade, they get an award, they get a promotion, they get something good out of this. The person and you and I in society, this will make society worse. He will go to jail, he will be convicted, he will be a felon, and that is going to hurt society overall. We will not spend any money on educating him, on helping him get over his drug problem. We won't spend any money on that. We'll spend money on giving money to guards to guard their skin. And that skin inside the prison will fester. They'll learn new tricks and new trades from other criminals that they're rubbing elbows with. And they will end up coming out and being worse. And this is the guy, God help us that it's not, maybe this isn't him, but a guy similar to him is the guy who does a year or two in prison, gets beat up, gets punked, turned into a bitch. And then he gets out and he's the guy that kills your son. He's the guy that runs over your daughter. He's the guy that mugs your mom because he's a felon. He can't get over the drugs. Society's turned their back on him. And now that he's a felon and he has nowhere to go, now he's homeless and now he lives in an encampment in your neighborhood.
Oh my God, he just spouted off a whole bunch of projection.
Uh-huh.
It's just seems like he's speaking from personal experience.
That's what these guys are doing. And we're seeing it. It's a repetitive circle. It's a repetitive circle. We're seeing it. And if this is going to make our society worse, this isn't going to make our society better. It's going to make it worse.
Okay,
Right.
so where's your advocacy for drug treatment programs and other than jail for helping people who have drug issues, Chili?
I don't think that he cares about advocacy in that regards. He just wants laws to be gone, laws that might impact him.
Yeah.
No cocaine.
Do you see how bright blue it is all the way around?
Oh my God, bro.
I'm telling you, what color is it? What color is that?
Blue.
Blue. That
Why-
came out of your spit in
Bro,
the
I
car.
have no cocaine.
You guys see all that blue, right?
Bro, I have no cocaine. Oh my God. So you found cocaine?
They don't want to adjudicate things on the side of the road with me. No cop ever wants to have a discussion with me. They never want to get into the nitty gritty with me. They don't ever want to sit down. And have a
Because
talk.
that's not the
Oh, they
fucking
wanna talk-
place for it, idiot. That's why they have court, which you're afraid to show up to in person. so afraid that you had to go and hire a lawyer. Not saying hiring a lawyer was a bad thing, but for you to hire a lawyer shows that you're scared shitless of a fucking courtroom. You fucking coward, Chili.
People who are drug addicts. As soon as I start to get into what's going on, they say, we're not adjudicating it on the side of the road. But yet this guy, they'll sit there and adjudicate with him all day because obviously he's eating drugs because he has a drug problem.
Get on me, bro. It's in your.
Hey, my God. Hey, my God.
Back up. Back up. Munoz, keep your eye on the car.
I mean, I know nobody in the car.
Hold on, stop. Come here. Do an isolation. That's my script.
That's confusing. Probably.
Have a seat. You have anything on you? No. Wait, go against the car. Nope. Go against the car.
Why is his fucking pants down? Jesus.
That's confusing, buddy.
Is that a gun that he just pulled out of his pocket?
Hey, my friend, that's confusing, man.
That went by really quick.
Coming from my
Have
dad.
a seat. Have a seat.
Yeah.
Put your feet in.
What was the point?
You all right? Hey, you all right? You all right?
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, he's in the woods. I hit him with the taser twice. 313 pounder.
So you chased him down like an animal and shot him with electricity and you wonder why he's hiding in the woods?
Can we have med 51? I think the trooper got banged up. Male's in the wood line. He tased him twice. He's in there. Sheriff's office, if you're inside, come out now. What's he wearing?
He's wearing a button up shirt.
Hey.
Pants Robin White. Over. Maybe make it.
Hey, come out now! Come out now! Get on your feet now! Get on your feet now! Or I'm
What makes cops think you're going to come out when someone's yelling at you like you're their worst enemy and they want to kill you?
gonna tase you.
Always a threat of I'm going to electrocute you. And look at the beta male.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up now! Now! Now!
It looks like he's on his knees. It looks like his hands are up, is what it looks like. Can everybody see that? Put a 1 in the chat. You can see he's on his knees. Pretty docile at this point.
I'm not playing with you. Keep your fucking hands up.
Put
Keep your hands up. I'm not playing.
I mean, look, that's not how you control somebody. What a moron. What do they teach these guys?
Give me your hands!
Told him.
Like he
Give me your
stayed,
hands!
looks like he stayed under control to me.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Why don't you stand him up? Why don't you stand him up and put some straps around his wrists and not behind his back?
Give me your fucking hands.
This is why this doesn't work.
Because
now, look
it
what they're doing
won't
to his
work.
So your wrist does not go into your armpit. That doesn't work like that. I'm just saying it's not how it works.
Why are you stop resisting?
Stop resisting. You're trying to put my wrist into my armpit and it doesn't go there.
No, they're not.
Now he's saying I was just scared.
Yeah, you're scared. You want to beat up an FHP trooper. Get out of here.
Oh, everybody wants to fight the cops. How often do we hear that lie?
Hey, give us your hands.
He was running in the woods. I don't see him trying to fight a cop as he's running and hiding in the woods.
We don't see the start of the video, Chili.
Okay. Listen. No, I'm not listening. Okay. Give me your hand. Give me your hand now.
And in the start of it, they dispatched medics for the police officer that was injured.
Okay, I know. No, you're not. Okay. Oh, got him.
It doesn't work. This system doesn't work. Look, watch the handcuffing process. Look at what they're doing here. This doesn't work. Look, they're trying to cuff him, but it doesn't work. Your bones and arms don't go that way. He can't get the cuff on because this is not how you're supposed to treat people. We can't get the cuff on.
Your bones don't go that way, but I can easily put my hands behind my back.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't hurt my bones.
Because they can't get his arm in the right angle to get the torture cuffs on him. This is the wrong way to treat people. Let me show you a different position, okay? Let me show you a different position. Okay, right there. You could walk up and strap his wrists together as he sits there. Put your hands in front of you, and you could wrap those wrists with a strap right there. You wouldn't have to jump on his back and put his face into that harsh grass. By the way, when you go out to the glades, like this looks like in the Everglades a little bit, that stuff is rough and coarse and fibrous and hurts. Right there, you can
Well,
just grab them.
it's
And
his fault for running into it.
And with your hands in front of you, it's a lot easier for you to run.
or fight.
Wrap his wrists up. Look, you could wrap his arms forward. Wrestled from the time I was 7 years old until my mid-30s. I competed competitively for 20 years in grappling. When someone has their hands like this, if I wrap them together like this and I put their arms in mine in a breadbasket, they're stuck chuck. Can't do anything. Why don't they just walk up, pull his arms forward, and strap them up? Because I used the torture cuffs from the slavery days. The same torture cuffs that they used during slavery are the same torture cuffs they use today.
Is the video skipping for you too?
What's that?
Is the video on the screen skipping for you too?
No.
Okay. I'm having internet issues. Hopefully it doesn't go down.
I'm not playing with you. Keep your fucking hands up. Put your hands up. I'm not playing. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Give me your fucking hand. Why are you stop resisting? I was scared. I was scared. Yeah, you're scared. You want to beat up an FHP trooper. No. Yeah. Hey.
Could be
Give us
video
your
issues
hand.
on his end too.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It could be video issues on his end also.
Listen. No, I'm not listening. Okay. Give me your hand. Give me your hand now. Okay, I know. Got him. Where you been? 313. Now scared. You got it? No. Stand up. Get up. Get up. Okay, wait. No, I'm not waiting. No. No more waiting. Let's go. I don't know where I'm going. I'll put the 11. The last finish. Keep walking. What the heck, man? Huh?
Here comes the cops explaining. Here comes the bullshit from the pig.
Just call more charges.
So let me show you what DLZ sent me over there at Team DLZ Clips over there. Team DLZ Clips. Let me show you what he sent me today. Let's take a look at this video where they handcuffed up a 10-year-old little girl. Welcome to another demonetized stream because I show you what the coppers don't want you to see. And the state makes sure they work with YouTube. That if anybody is going to make money off of people being abused in the streets, it's going to be the cops. They're the ones that are going to make money. You can't make money on a video that shows the cops abusing people in the streets. Only the cops get to make money off the abuse that they do in the streets. Just saying. I mean, that seems to be the way it is.
But we thought, this one happened once, but we felt it was important to put it in the audit. So in this case, officers were conducting a probation waivers. There was a girl, a 10-year-old black girl that was there with her kind of bedridden grandmother. The police department came on the door trying to get her to open the door, saw her close lights. When she finally opened the door, they immediately handcuffed her. Were kind of rude, and well, no, they were rude. And then they marched her to the car. The issue here is that was reasonable. It was needlessly. A threat to the people. She had her pajamas on. She was crying for her mom when she opened the door. Or saying she was a baby when she opened the door, and the officer took her and took her to the car. After finding out she was a 10-year-old girl, the officer did change and he did take off the handcuffs. Their response, I believe, the SPD states that they were exonerated. This case was exonerated, I believe, and she was only handcuffed for 35 seconds. And that is true. She was handcuffed for about 35 seconds. But I think that the bigger issue is that she should have never been handcuffed in the first place. And
oh my God,
that will do lifelong trauma. And there should be policies in place or continuous training in place for officers in dealing with minors and dealing with minors who are aggressive or minors that were a threat.
Just listen to this again. 10-year-old girl. Okay. 10-year-old girl, listen to what they say again. Just listen to the sentence here.
For officers, policies in place or continuous training in place for officers in dealing with minors and dealing with minors who are aggressive or minors that were a threat.
What is funny?
Have you seen the cops in the
What
videos?
the
Have you
fuck
seen
is
most
funny?
of the cops look like, you know?
I have
This guy's
no
leaving
idea.
it. No, he's lost it.
I mean, should they be handcuffing a 10-year-old? Probably not. But handcuffs can be used aren't just for the officer's safety. Sometimes it's for the person's safety, so they don't hurt themselves.
I'm an avid worker outer. I train constantly, and I've really turned on too much training this past month. I overtrained, underate, and underslept. It made me sick.
Avid worker outer.
If you say so, Chili.
You see those cops, let me just show you something real quick. With this one arm right here, I could grab a 10-year-old little girl and completely control her. I wouldn't even need my other arm because I lift up 60, 70 pounds.
That doesn't sound creepy whatsoever.
With one arm, I pick up a dumbbell, a dead belt, and I push it over my head with my shoulder and my bicep, 60, 70 pounds, 15, 20 times. So that means that Chili here at 48 years old, I can grab a 10-year-old kid and completely put them into the ground just by their shirt if they're overly aggressive. We don't need a policy for it. I can control a 10-year-old, any 10-year-old. I'm going to venture to say 99.9% of every 10-year-olds in the world that Chili here.
Chili, what's more traumatic, getting handcuffs put on or getting slammed into the fucking ground, you fucking idiot?
I'd have thought, as you say, Hank, I'd have thought the handcuffs are actually the better option than slamming a 10-year-old into the deck.
Killer. I'm not one of these guys who's getting more training. I could control a 10-year-old with one arm. Put a one in the chat if you agree. Just one arm. I could control her with one arm. 10-year-old little girl, I could grab her by the back of the neck right here and put her right face in the couch, and she wouldn't be able to get off the couch because I'm 200 pounds. She wouldn't be able to stop me. But they need to create policies and training for stupid pigs.
I guess lost Becca's internet then.
Possibly. She's having some internet issues. Give her a couple of minutes to see if she comes back. The weather's still an issue where you're at, Jim, or is it settled out?
It's still yucky out there, but at least I have a connection. Yeah, she posted something in private chat there.
Taking care of the dogs. Let me get back to the computer.
One thing about Chili is he only fights in a controlled environment. He's never fought for real.
Well, he also hasn't been around very many kids. My great niece is 9 and she punches like a man when she's wrestling with her dad. That guy has bruises and he's twice Chili size. So I don't think his little brags about taking care of children is going to go anywhere.
But also they're the right height to get him where LV Las Vegas PD didn't get him.
Oh yeah. Though my 9-year-old grandniece is about Chili's height. She's gonna be gigantic.
And see if I can get the video back up. Okay.
Kind of bedridden
Think
grandmother.
this is about the spot
Police department
where you're at.
were trying to get her.
It'll work.
They saw her close lights. When she finally opened the door, they immediately handcuffed her. They were kind of rude, and well, no, they were rude. And then they marched her to the car. The issue here is that was unreasonable. It was needlessly. She posed no threat to the people. She had her pajamas on. She was crying for her mom when she opened the door. Or no, excuse me, she was saying she was a baby when she opened the door.
Hey, Shuggy Frog's got a question for you.
Slough Grammar. Down south.
And the officer handcuffed her and took her to the car. After finding out that she was a 10-year-old girl, the officer's demeanor did change and he did take off the handcuffs. In their response, I believe the SPD states that they were exonerated. This case was exonerated, I believe, and she was only handcuffed for 35 seconds. And that is true. She was handcuffed for about 35 seconds. But I think the bigger issue is that she should have never been handcuffed in the first place. And
oh my God,
that will do lifelong trauma. And there should be policies in place or continuous training in place for officers in dealing with minors and dealing with minors who are aggressive or minors that were a threat.
Just listen to this again. 10-year-old girl. Okay. 10-year-old girl. Listen to what they say again. Just listen. Just listen to this sentence here.
For officers, policies in place or continuous training in place for officers in dealing with minors and dealing with minors who are aggressive or minors that were a threat.
Have you seen the cops in the videos? Have you seen what most of the cops look like? You know, I'm an avid worker outer. I train constantly, and I've really turned on too much training this past month. I overtrained, underate, and underslept, and it made me sick. And you see those cops, you know, let me just show you something real quick. With this one arm right here, I could grab a 10-year-old little girl and completely control her. I wouldn't even need my other arm.
Beat
because
factor
I lift up 60,
11.
70 pounds with one arm. With one arm, I pick up a dumbbell, a dead belt, and I push it over my head with my shoulder and my bicep, 60, 70 pounds, 15, 20 times. So that means that Chili here at 48 years old, I can grab a 10-year-old kid and completely put them into the ground just by their shirt if they're overly aggressive. We don't need a policy for it. I can control a 10-year-old, any 10-year-old. I'm going to venture to say 99.9% of every 10-year-olds in the world that Chili here, I'm not a trained killer. You know, I'm not one of these guys who's getting more training. I could control a 10-year-old with one arm. Put a one in the chat if you agree. Just one arm. I could control her with one arm. 10-year-old little girl, I could grab her by the back of the neck right here and put her right face in the couch, and she wouldn't be able to get off the couch because I'm 200 pounds. She wouldn't be able to stop me. But they need to create policies and training for stupid pigs who don't understand that it's a 10-year-old little girl.
Apparently, you need to learn that it's not appropriate to bury a little girl's head in the fucking.
We do have a snippet of the video from this one. We blurred the faces out and the police officers' faces out.
Why'd you hide the cops? Show us what cops did it.
Sorry
I
about
put my glasses on.
Welcome back, Becca.
Thank you.
Yay.
Got to put his glasses on. Hold on a minute. He's on our side.
Are you able to open the door, ma'am?
Police department, probation search, open the door. Talk about police, probation search, open the door.
Mike, what?
They've
No
got
wonder
a
why DLZ sent this to me. DLZ clips. This is crazy.
well. If they've got a if they're there for a probation search, then
They're opening the door. Don't open the door.
Just cover that one.
You're gonna rip their door off.
Hi, can you unlock this, please?
You were just.
Can you open this screen door? It's the police department.
He's got a ski mask on. This guy comes to your door dressed up like military G.I. Joe loser. We're trying to rip your door off, and then he opens up and he says, "Can you please open the door with a ski mask on?" This is what home intruders look like. I mean, am I wrong? Do you agree? Put a 1. Do you think he looks like a home invader? Look at him.
well, apparently one of the occupants of that vehicle might not
Can you
have
open this screen door?
wanted
They
to
said, "Open the effing
break
effing
laws
door,"
to
and
be
they
on
beeped it.
probation.
The police department.
You look like a criminal. You look like the thug that you should be afraid of.
Can you open this? Hey, Sacramento Police Department, come to the door.
Did you? Okay. Man, the psyops, dude. The psyops were watching right in front of us. Hey, can you open the door, please? Open the door now!
Can you open this screen door? It's the police department. Can you open this? Hey, Sacramento Police Department, come to the door.
Yes, he's saying in a louder voice so somebody else in the house can hear and come to the door.
Listen, we're gonna kick the door down, and we don't want to do that.
Yes, you
Come
do.
to the door right now. Open the door. Open the
You're
door.
not a baby if you're not listening.
Open the door. Come outside.
Come outside right now.
Who is here?
You're going
Who is here? There's another one in here.
What?
No, you don't get to go and hide and turn off the lights.
What?
That's not how this works.
Wait a minute. They said overly aggressive children. She came to the door and said, "I'm the baby," then opened the door and stood back, and they ripped her out of the house and put her in torture cuffs.
Okay, but you're gonna be the kid in handcuffs. You're not listening.
Because you're not listening, you're going to be tortured.
Handcuffs are not fucking torture, you idiot.
Why are you running and hiding?
Why do you think she is, buddy? You don't have YouTube? You don't know why she's running and hiding? Look at what you're doing to people. Bro, Sacramento Police Department, every copper there is, look at what you're doing to people. Look at why I hate you. This is why I hate you. This is why when I see you on the street and I can annihilate you because you're stupid, I do it. This is why I'm mean to coppers. Every police officer in America can take a look at this video. That's what you're a part of, bro. That's what you joined. You did that. And now I know more than you. And so I go on the street and I embarrass you because this is what you joined. This is why I lambaste you nasty pigs. Could you imagine for a moment, if just to say, I'm 48 years old, far past my prime, far past. If I could make you drop your badge and gun and we could have it out right there in the street, could you imagine? First of all, I'd beat up half of you. I'd get beat up half the time. I'm old. I'm past my prime, okay? There's guys who are in their 30s who are going to annihilate me. You know, I got a big ego. You get past that, I'm going to get beat up. I know that. I'm not stupid. But these guys are such beta male cucks that they don't know why I'm mean to them with my intellect. Do you see? It comes full circle. It's not about me fist fighting you in the street with my gigantic ego. That's not what it's about. It's not about you being able to best me or nightstick me or tase me. It's about this. It's about this right here. It's about what you joined. It's about what you do to people.
Baby, if you're not
Open
listening.
come to the door right now.
He's screaming at her. Now listen.
Open the door. Open the door.
I'm the baby. Did you hear her voice? She sounds like a baby, Mr. Police Officer, who they say, you're mean to the copper. Does this not sound like a baby?
Come to the door right now. Open the door.
I'm sorry, but a 10-year-old should not be claiming I'm the baby. This does not sound right to me.
Open the
You're
door.
not a baby if you're not listening.
Open
That sounds like a little kid.
the door. Come outside.
Come outside right now.
The little kid's not overly.
Who's here?
Hands are up. Little girl's scared. She's wearing her pajamas. Her hands are still up. They're grabbing her aggressively. Now he's going to squeeze her arms and hurt her because they all do the same thing.
You're going.
Now he's double hand squeezing on one wrist. In wrestling, it's called a baseball grip. That's not how he's doing it though, because he's a beta male.
Who's here?
Now he's jerking her arm. Now twisting her arm behind her back within 2 seconds of her.
So it's the baseball grip, but it's not the baseball grip because he's doing it wrong.
Now she's crying, and he's still going through the process. He doesn't see as a human being that she's broken down and she stopped.
But
and
it
she's scared.
apparently
He has to go
worked
through his
well
policies
for
and
getting
procedures
both
he's
of
a
her
follower.
hands behind her back and
No, you don't get to go and hide.
into
Did you hear the
handcuffs
torture
in an
cuffs being
efficient
clapped onto a
manner.
10-year-old girl?
Turn off the lights. That's not how this works.
What is she supposed to do, bro? She sees this on YouTube all the time. What do you think she's going to do, bro? You think other little 10-year-olds are not watching the video I'm showing now? YouTube. Let me say something funny to YouTube. YouTube. You put 18 or older on my videos. I've got nieces and nephews, 7, 9, 6, 5, and 1. My 9-year-old, my 7-year-old, and my 6-year-old nieces and nephews, when they see 18 or older, they go, oh, cool. And they click on it.
They don't have
Every
access
video,
to it if
every
it's
other
set
10-year-old
for
kid watching this
children,
right now, put a 1 in the chat.
for kids.
But I'm 10 years old and I'm watching because they are. And you wonder why she ran and hide and turned the lights off. It's a self-cleaning oven.
Okay, but you're going to be detained in handcuffs. Because you're not listening.
You're going to be detained in
But
handcuffs.
how many stories have we seen
It's officer safety
where children, 2, 3, 4,
reasonable articulable suspicion with a singular
have shot
articulable
someone?
fact of a criminal
Yeah,
activity.
pause it,
She's
Hank. I'm
underage and
sorry.
at her home.
How often have we seen a story where a minor, 2, 3, 4, 5, gets hold of a gun and shoots somebody, either unintentionally or intentionally? I mean, they've got to be cautious of what they're getting into.
No.
And as for the child watching YouTube, I have it set up so that my youngest son, I have it parental controlled. So there's age groups for YouTube Kids, and his is set up for his age group. So none of Chili's stuff would show up on it. Then there's 14 and older, which none of Chili's stuff would show up on it.
And I'm probably guessing there's some prejudice from the side of the parents against police at the house, seeing that they're there for a probation search, so somebody's been caught for something before. You'd think a reasonable parent would instruct their kids on be compliant with them, do what they say. But
And
no.
also, they need her out of the way in case it goes pear-shaped.
Why are you running and hiding?
I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
When the cops come to my door,
Why are you running for the house and hiding?
I'm sorry. Colin, delete Laws Clips. Everybody get over to delete Laws Clips and subscribe. He sent this to me last night, freaking out. Colin sent this to me last night, flipping out. You got to cover this, Chill. You got to cover this. You know, I'm literally segmenting my life so that I can make sure I can stay on Earth and try to make the world a better place. This is why he was freaking out. The cop realizes what he's done, and he just.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do because she's 10 and they came to her house in a ski mask. What would you do?
How old are you?
10.
Why are you running through the house and hiding and turning off lights?
Because she has YouTube.
That's incredibly unsafe.
Because she has YouTube. She saw you on TikTok.
Not gonna cuff her.
You already did, bro. You already cuffed her.
The police are at the door. You do not get to run and hide.
That's exactly what you do. That is exactly what you do. When the police come to your front door, you run and you hide.
Not gonna cuff her.
You already did cuff her, bro.
Fucking Chili. Do not teach children how to get killed. You fucking asshole.
Not only that, the immediate action on was to get her out of the way, didn't know her age, handcuff her out of the way. She's safe, she can't hurt them or hurt herself or get hurt. Then they can get into the house. The moment he found out she was 10, off came the cuffs, and he started talking to her. But he got away from the situation so she was safe. I think he did quite well, personally.
Yeah, but Chili telling them to hide and this bullshit, that's teaching children how to get their ass killed.
You're so right.
Fucking irresponsible fucking asshole.
You're so right.
If you want to preach this shit to an adult that should know better, if they believe you, that's on them. But don't be talking about kids like that. If just one of them believes you, you can get their ass killed. So fuck you, Chili.
Hey, when the police are at the door, you do not.
The police in ski masks, violently trying to rip the front door off the hinges. You don't run and hide? Are you sure about that?
Not get to run and hide.
Why wouldn't you run and hide? There's men wearing ski masks trying to rip your door off. She has YouTube. She has TikTok. She's 10. 10-year-olds today are fully aware. Put a 1 in the chat if you are just steaming pissed right now, but you're going to keep yourself in check. Put a 1 in the chat if you are steaming pissed off, but you're going to remain peaceful. You're going to petition. You're going to use the press. You're going to use all of your rights to fight back against this tyrannical government. But we will not. Listen, coppers, I see in the street, I've been a fighter my whole life. I want to grab that copper and take him down to the mat. I can't fight every cop I want to fight. I can't sue every cop I want to sue. I can't fight any cops, and I won't. But I can't sue every cop that I tell them I'll sue unless they truly violate my rights. I was watching videos back with DLZ clips. I tell cops all the time I'm going to sue them because if they violate my rights,
you're suing Las Vegas Metro Police Department and they didn't violate your rights.
We'll show you guys all the lawsuits that I'm in, so you guys can look them up.
Nope.
And the reason why I sue bad cops is because of what you just saw.
He's threatening to.
I am legitimately.
He's threatening to sue Sergeant Martinez, and Sergeant Martinez didn't violate his rights.
Steam and pissed off. I gotta get this kink out of my neck right now. I'm so angry right now. I can't help it. I'm pissed. Ooh, I want to get you copper and give you a knuckle sandwich. I would like to give you a knuckle sandwich, but we can't do that.
Thank you for showing us you have absolutely no experience of fighting. The knuckle out like that, you're gonna break your fucking finger, you fucking idiot.
Did he tuck his thumb too?
Probably.
I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich. I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich. I'm going to give a sandwich right now.
I want to. I'm human. I'm a human being. That makes me mad.
Press X to that about him being human.
We got to use our smarts, and we got to sue, and we got to petition, and we got to use the free press. And I got to get to the governor. I got to get to the governorship because I'm not going to unring the bells that have happened to me in my life and unring the bells that I see ring my bell with 10-year-olds getting handcuffed as soon as I'm governor. I'm not going to become some statist where all of a sudden, ooh, you know what? I no longer care about all those people I saw get abused by these cops. Now that I'm the governor, I'm going to change my stripes. No. I'm going to be governor, and I'm going to change this from the top down. I give you my word. I swear on my soul. It might cost me my soul before I get there. Let's hope it doesn't. But I swear to God, Scout's honor, I will not stop until... Now, I'm going to have to shut it down at night. I'm going to have to shut it down from midnight to 6 a.m. because I ran myself into the ground. I can't do that. So if you guys text me or call me and I don't get back to you, I love you the same. I can't meet up with everybody. I can't just call everybody. And it doesn't matter if I adore you as a person, and I do. There's about 40 or 50 people and on the light side that I have a real kinship with because we feel so strongly about what we see on these videos. There's about 40 or 50 of you who I've been in personal contact with on the phone, through emails, where we have talked extensively and we have built a bond. And for those 40, 50 people that I could just mention off the top of my head, I love you. If I don't get back to you right away, or it takes me a day or 2 or 3 or 5 or a week.
But Chili also says I love you to complete strangers.
Sure
That's just creepy.
Because and I'm not, and also DLZ clips, and we're gonna go into Eric's fundraiser here in a second. But DLZ clips and I were looking back at the videos. Look, I got a big ego, and I actually love to fight. When my body doesn't get beaten up from fighting. But I'm not gonna fight anybody. I'm too old. I have to retire. I can't wrestle a pig at every gym in every place in the state of West Virginia or Tennessee or Tulsa. I can't go down to Flagler and grab that pig and say, let's go to the gym. I'm gonna jujitsu you. I can't. That's just my ego talking.
Well, you haven't gone to a gym with a single cop yet.
What got us to this point now here today, because people need leadership so badly, and everybody's afraid to say that I'm the leader. They are, especially from the peons that we are, because we weren't raised where we're going to lead the masses. We always look to the super politicians and the super rich, and they're going to lead us.
Who besides yourself calls you a leader, Chili?
And so far, we've seen through our lifetime, Gen X, Boomer, and the greatest generation, and some millennials, that they haven't done it. That the super rich and the super elite and the son or daughter of that politician has not led us to the promised land. They have not helped the common man. As much as people like Trump, he really helped the rich. He really helped infringe our Second Amendment. As much as people loved Reagan, he really wanted to get rid of the Fourth Amendment, and he said so out loud in speech. So, and then the fact that I say that I am the alpha male. People are like, if you're really an alpha, you wouldn't say you're an alpha. In today's culture, we've created that it's so popular to be a beta male. That it's so popular to acquiesce to whatever someone else wants, and you should be more agreeable, and we should have like this socialistic kind of. And no, I don't agree to that. I agree to the rule of law, that we have to have a system based on rules of law that you and I.
That does not change the fact that an alpha male does not have to tell everybody he's an alpha male. If you're an alpha, then you're going to show that by your actions, not by your fucking lip moving or your lip moving.
Excuse me, Hank. I'm the alpha here. Excuse me, Hank. I'm the alpha. Why are you talking over me?
All right, go give somebody a knuckle sandwich.
I would give him a knuckle sandwich. And I will
part the clouds that are obscuring Becca's internet again. They will answer to me, for I am the Alpha. I am the Alpha.
Alrighty then. This is a good pause face.
All agree to live by. And the first principle of the rule of law is that government and the government entities are beholden under the rule of law. And so this is a time period, it's a very strange time period in our history, because it's popular to be beta. It's popular to not say that you're the leader, because why are you qualified? You're not. I'm not qualified. You're not qualified. Nobody's qualified to lead masses of people, especially this many millions of people. You're not qualified. I mean, read John Locke's book, Essays in Understanding Humanity. I'm not qualified, neither are you. But we're seeing that the billionaires and the politicians are also just as
Okay. How do you know about anybody's qualifications that you're speaking to through the internet? You don't know them. You can have, I highly doubt anybody with any leadership potentials actually listening to you and thinking you're speaking the gospel, but you don't
Let
know.
alone, he can't draw more than 5 people to an event. How the hell is he going to draw hundreds or even thousands to campaign stops? How many are going to actually accept him as a leader when they're not even showing up for him now?
No.
qualified as you and I. And we saw, I could just go on and on about it, but it has to be changed. And so that's why I've taken the stance that I've taken, and I'm unwavering in my resolve and my commitment to the point where I'll work myself to death. And so at midnight tonight, I will shut down. I will not return any phone calls. I will not return any text message.
I don't know what his answer would be, but I can tell you the truth. Not a damn thing. Gary T.
I will not return any emails. I will not touch my computer or my phones after midnight unless I see cherries and berries. Unless I see cherries and berries. I see cherries and berries. I see cherries and berries, and I pull my phone out and I start recording. You know, I just got to take 6-8 hours a night, and I got to stop and I got to rest, guys. So if I don't get back to the people who I love, I'm sorry. And the people who I don't know that email me, I cannot get back to all the emails and contacts. You can ask Colin. There's so many contacts. So let's jump into Eric's fundraiser and try to switch gears into something positive. Also, on the last fundraiser, I counted the Venmo, the Cash App, and the PayPal, but there were 2 $20 donations on Super Chats, and I give half of that Super Chat money to the donation. So there's $20 more from Super Chats last time that I didn't factor in when I went through and looked at the Super Chats after the thing. And nobody caught it, but I caught it. And so I'm going to put that 20 in today. And then I'm going to take a look at my phone, and I'm going to look at the PayPals, because over the last week, several of you have sent me PayPals or Venmo or Cash App, and we're over $100, I think, from people who've just donated to me that said wheelchair. So if you send me a Venmo, a PayPal, or a Cash App, I'm doing a fundraiser for Eric Trujillo's artificial intelligence wheelchair. And that artificial intelligence wheelchair is $7,500. Give me one.
You're asking for a electric wheelchair, and then you're asking for an ocular device that has nothing to do with the chair, that actually, if you read the description of the device, does not recommend using with a mobility device. So, okay.
And it's not powered by AI.
Yeah.
1 second, and let me pull that fundraiser up, because we have raised most of the money for Eric's wheelchair, and we are going to finish it. This team right here, we are going to finish it. Let me check real quick. Give me just 1 second while I pull this up. And I have his fundraiser here, and we'll get a latest update to see where he is as far as where the fundraiser is, as far as how much money we've raised for Eric. And we're going to finish this bad chicken. We're going to finish this bad chicken. That's what's going to happen. And I called a couple of investors. So if you don't want to pull your wallet out, if you don't want to pull your phone out and get your Cash App, your Venmo, or your PayPal, give it directly to the GoFundMe. I would prefer you gave the money directly to Eric's GoFundMe. I would prefer 0 Super Chats, because I have to then front that money. I'm not rich. Colin will tell you, Team DLZ, we're not balling. We looked up what we make on Social Blade. I wish we made that amount of money. But so let's get your wallet out, get your phone out. Get your Cash App, your Venmo, your PayPal. You can send it directly to me, or I would prefer if you sent it directly to Eric's GoFundMe. I understand if you don't have any extra funds right now. We are at $4,000 right there. Monk's Law 6 days ago threw in the last. This was Team DLZ last time. This number should have been 450. I missed 2 Super Chats. I'm really sorry. I'm going to put that in right now. Let me see what you guys can see, so I can make sure you guys can see it. So we put 450 in last time. Hopefully we can beat that this time, if you guys are doing okay, if everybody's got some money. And so if you guys can donate directly to Eric's GoFundMe, let me drop the link in the chat real quick. and then I'm going to go and I'm going to open my wallet up and I'm going to put the money in that people have donated to me, and I'm going to read off a couple of names of people. So there's the link in the chat right there. Let me open up my PayPal, my Venmo, my Cash App, and see if anybody has sent me any money. And all you have to do and right there, Monk's Law, I can't remember your username, Monks. If you're in the room though, I know you've been in the room several times. Monk's Law, he threw this in at the end, or she threw this in at the end. I don't know which one it is. And Tom Shaw, of course, is a regular in this room, and Victor is a regular here on Team DLZ. And Richard Bellafori is. Let's take a look at all of them and give some credit here. Richard looked like Richard went a couple times here. So then this was Team DLZ again. And
you still having internet issues, Becca?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Again, this is someone from Team DLZ, and David is a Team DLZ, and this is from y'all, and this is from y'all, from Chevy, from P-Rex, from what was it, JT, I believe the name was. This is anonymous. This is Greg. This is a regular on Team DLZ here, and this is Michael Martin. This is us putting money in. So as you guys can see, this is what. And then Bruce is a regular here. Paulette is a regular around here, and Shant is a regular on Team DLZ here. Terry Moore, Cheryl. So good to see all y'all in here. Scrubzilla is on Team DLZ 100%. He's been around, and this is when we threw some money in. And look what we've done. I mean, look what we've done. And so far where we are here, we've raised over half of the money, and we're gonna pass that up today. So again, feel free. You can Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App directly to me, and I will take the money immediately right now and put it into his GoFundMe. Or I would prefer if you donated directly to his GoFundMe. That skips the middleman process, and the faster we get that GoFundMe to its green light, the faster he gets those funds released, and he can have his wheelchair. And that's what this is really about. If anybody has a rich uncle that's got $3 grand, call that rich uncle right now. Get on the phone. Be like, yo, uncle, I'm doing a fundraiser for a guy. It's straight to his
He's
GoFundMe.
raised enough for the wheelchair already.
And let's get your rich uncle in here. Let's get him in here.
Mm-hmm.
Get your wallet out. Get your wallet out. This is a fundraiser for Eric Trujillo. And Eric was supposed to die a couple months ago, 2 years ago. And he said, no way, I'm not dying. I am not dying. I'm not ready to kick off this earth yet. If you guys would please, I don't see anything in the chat yet, but I will keep looking. 1 second. And let me real quick open up my PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App and see who has sent me money over the past. I got a donation today for Eric. And I'll show you guys the PayPal so you guys can see. I'll cover their names. What's up with that? Right there. Chevy Bucks. Right there, Chevy, I got your 100. Thank you, Chevy. God bless you, brother. Eric, this man has donated a lot of money to your funds. Gary, thank you so much. Gary, thank you for your donation. So we have, and let's take a look at the Cash App. Let's see what we have in here. We definitely have some donos today from Cash App. Right there from Luke. Luke just came in for 50. And then we got, oh, thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you. And then we got, thank you, Alan. Appreciate your donation. God bless you. Thank you. Luke, thank you. I appreciate your donation. So I've got 20 from the last one. Make sure we count that. We count those in. Keep track of these DLZ clips. Literally write that down because I'm going to split those in half. We missed 2 on the last one, and I don't want to miss any. I want to get this man his wheelchair. So let's get it done. Luke, thank you so much for coming in. Corey, thank you for your donation. Alan, thank you very much for your donation. Really appreciate it. A couple people were donations that they sent to me and said thank you for what you're doing, and thank you. I appreciate it. It's all good. We don't stop. We don't stop under any circumstances. You see why we do what we do. We can see it. So I don't want to lose track. I want to stay focused on Eric. This is Eric's time right now, and he's $3,000 away from having that wheelchair. So I want to stay as focused as I can right now. So I got 50 and 100 and 20 and 20. So just right there, it's 190. We have 190 so far, and I haven't even checked Venmo yet. So in Venmo here, I got some money come in. So Dan came in. Dan. So Eric, if you're watching this, Dan is coming in with another 50. So now we're at $240. Thank you. I'm just taking a second to say thank you to thank you, Dan. You're inspiring. Thank you. Dan, thanks a lot. Dan has come in consistently. And every time you guys donate, every time someone hits my Venmo, my Cash App, or PayPal, just put wheelchair or Eric Trillo in there. And I see it. And when I see it, I know on one of the lives I'm going to have to come through. And it's earmarked. It says right there. It says wheelchair right on it. You see that? It says wheelchair. And there's the 50 right there. You see the 50 right under there sneaking under my hand? There's the 50 right there. I'm just protecting the man's personal information. But there's 50 right there. And he put the word wheelchair. I don't know why you got timed out, man. If you're trolling, you probably got timed out because moderators were, I mean, this is Team DLZ. It's like family around here because so many people have tried to take this channel down and tried to hurt us, and they're not going to be able to stop us because it doesn't matter if it's YouTube or anything else. I'm never going to stop. And if I have to make videos and send them out to people and have you post them Andrew Tate style, that's what I'll do. If they kick me off this platform, all of you contact me and I'll send you videos and say, post this. And people will continue to share the videos that I make because I'll never stop. And they'll make me more powerful. So if they ban me, it'll just make me more powerful. So Dan, there's another one. Thank you, Eric, for your donation. Thank you so much, man. God bless you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. We don't stop, man. We don't stop. So, wow.
Yes, if Chili actually had the subscribers that, if they were actually real, that's less than half of his subscribers giving $1 a piece to get. Hell, it's only about 5% of the subscribers giving $1 a piece, and that wheelchair would be done.
But he hasn't got those subscribers.
No.
Let alone if he had the big money donors like he claims, this would have been over weeks ago. He does, I mean, spoiler warnings, if you look at the fundraising page, he'll get a single guy who does 2 $400 donations. But that's still, they're nowhere near the final goal.
Yeah, a $200 to $400 donation is not a big money donor. I mean,
yeah, that's $800 the guy's donated. It's, I mean, it's a lot to you and me, but
yeah,
it's not
not putting down his donation. I'm just saying it's not what I would consider a big money donation.
Yeah, even a medium money donator, or donation would be in the thousands and would have got this thing done.
Mm-hmm. Hell, if he actually had big money donations coming in, he would have only need one of them to act.
Yep.
I have run fundraisers where I've had the big money donations. Those are $10,000-$15,000 a pop donations that they're making.
I think he'd have more chance with this one had he split it up of 3,000 for the wheelchair and 4,000 for the AI device. 2 fundraisers.
Yeah.
It's my idea.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, he should now admit. Sorry, hang on.
Yeah, but he keeps grifting as an AI-powered wheelchair that will help him navigate. No. The ocular device that he's looking for is not a mobility aid whatsoever.
And he should, and again, he'd probably get more lucky if he said, "We've got the wheelchair, awesome. Now we need to fundraise for the AI device." But again,
Yep.
it's just one big chunk for him.
No, it's not even an AI device. It's just helping.
Well, yeah.
It will read for him and do things like that, but it's not. It's not a mobility aid. It definitely will help improve his quality of life that he's got available.
Mm-hmm.
It was a device I'm thinking of. It will, when you're, say you're at the grocery store looking at items on the shelf, it will identify what items you're looking at.
Becca's internet is being weird again. She can hear us, but we can't hear her.
Right. Okay.
Oh, hopefully it gets better.
Yeah. I've got her in text messages.
When was the last live that we did?
Okay.
Okay. So I appreciate it, man. So what do we got now? So I was at 240. I was at 240. Is there any other bidders? So if you would pull out your Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, and right now $75 or $10 right this second. It'll take you just 2 seconds on your phone. I'll sit here and I'll wait. And if we can crowdsource this with a couple hundred people in here and $5 a piece, that's another $1,000. So and I counted the money, the super chat money. I'll do a thorough accounting as soon as this is over. But right now in my head I got 240. So if the numbers change, I'll make sure that I expose it all because you have to. Oh, what's that, J-Car? But we've heard this from trolls before, bro. People who say, J-Car, his GoFundMe is right there, man. If you want to fund the campaign, then do it. But that's we've dealt with this. Put a 1 in the chat if we've dealt with this before. Someone coming in and saying, hey, I'm going to pay for the whole thing. Put a 1 in the chat if you've been here before and someone has come in and said, hey, I got it, and we all got real excited, and then they were just having a good time at someone else's expense. We've all experienced that here. If you've been on the Team DLZ long enough, then you know that Marcy Fox just put in some money on the GoFundMe. Let's focus on this. So, regular, let me refresh this bad chicken real quick. There it is right there. It'll show up in a second, Marcy. And I got 240 going in. Let me put my 240 in right now, real quick. Let's just make it 250. Let's make it 250, just so that it's a round number coming in. And let me donate 250 right now. I don't tip GoFundMe. I'm really sorry because of what they did to the truckers last year. I can't get around it. I wouldn't have put my I mean, it sucks, but GoFundMe is, they're the big boy on the block. And so you're kind of forced to use them. It's really bad. But you know what I mean? Okay, so there's
Yeah,
two
we
things
can hear
coming
you.
right now. I actually put the wrong zip code in there. Let's see if it goes through. It went through anyway. Cool.
For
All right,
now.
let's refresh this and see if Marcy's donation went through. There mine is right there that you guys put in right there. There it is. The money that was
Storming
sent
right
from
now,
Dan
so
and from Eric and from Christopher and from Colin and
What was that?
it's storming right now. Surprised y'all don't hear the thunder.
Your noise cancellation's working good.
Wonderful.
from Marcy and from Chevy. What's up, Playboy? What's up, Playboy? There and from Gary, who also threw some money in here today. And where are we at? You know, Gary threw in $20 today, and then Marcy said that she threw into the GoFundMe. I believe Marcy, she's been on Team DLZ for a very long time. Marcy and I have jumped on the phone, and we've had long conversations, and at least one long conversation I've had with Marcy, besides emails and text messages. And I love Marcy. She's the best, as far as, at least to me. She's treated me very fairly, and she always jumps in and contributes, and she's not rich. So thanks, Marcy. I appreciate what you do. Thank you for being a part of it. Really, you know, and I understand. Did you post those? You got to post the Colin. If you would post the Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. Someone's asking what the Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal are. I think they're on the bottom. I think the Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal are along the bottom. Someone asked that right now. They said, "Oh damn, we're supposed to send the Cash App." You know, I would prefer you sent to the GoFundMe because then it just takes out any chance of errors being made or and people talk shit, whatever. I don't care. But what I do care about is that Eric gets his wheelchair. That's numero uno importante cosa. And I think I just had another right there.
$72.50
$50 donation come in just now from Home Tech Solutions of Tennessee. That's the I don't think he's going to mind if I show this because this is the name of his company. So if you guys are in Tennessee, Home Tech Solutions of Tennessee just sent me $50 more to my PayPal. I'm going to go ahead and cover the fee on that. I'll pay the
Dan, I think it's $72.50
in, and I'll do that right this second. So if anybody else sends me
for the
Home Tech Solutions of
GoFundMe.
Tennessee, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And Eric, I know Eric is what?
What was that, Becca?
Dan asked, "What's the total they're looking for?" I believe it's $72.50 for the GoFundMe, unless he's asking for something else specific.
Yes, it's $72.50.
What? Chuck, what? Chuck just threw in $400. What? Let me refresh this bad chick in a couple. It'll take a second to hit. There's Marcy's right there. There's Mark's Weber, and there's Chuck right there. Chuck just threw in 400. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Chuck, listen, my God. And you guys, just so you know, Chuck is a friend of mine. Chuck's another one of those people that I have a personal relationship with. And he did indeed. Let me open this bad chicken big so you can see it. And there's Chuck's $400 donation that he just, and Chuck is not a rich man. I guess that's what he had left for his month because we're at the end of the month. I know Chuck, he's a good friend of mine. And I guess that's what he had left at the end of his month right there. Wow, Chuck. Thank you, man. Butch the Original, nice to see you. And then we got, we have, I got Home Tech Solutions right here. So I got $400 coming from Chuck and Home Tech Solutions, 100 from Chevy, 20 from Gary, 50 from Dan. You know, I've already put that in. I'm going to throw in another 50. I'm going to wait just 1 second to see if anybody else sends me $5 or $10 through Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. You know, it doesn't matter how much it is. It matters that you contribute. That's all that matters. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this fundraiser until the fundraiser is completed. I won't stop. Once I put my mind to something, I know that I can transcend, that I can get it done. Butch the Original just put in 20. Chuck, God bless you, man. I hope that you're okay. I do know Chuck. I know he's not rich. I know where he lives. I'm friends with Chuck. Man, Chuck, I hope that you're okay, and I hope that this doesn't financially hurt you. Sometimes you put your heart in front of your mind, but you are an amazing man. Thank you. Butch the Original just threw in 20. Butch the Original threw in 20. Let me refresh this right here. Marcy threw in 20 right here. Mark Weber threw in 20 right here. Top Rock right here threw in 20 right here. So we are getting it. Look at that. Look at that. We're going to be really close here. We are getting really close. God bless. Thank you. So Chuck, man, Marcy, thank you guys so much. Unbelievable. Mark Weber, thank you. Top Rock, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, it's just unbelievable. And Tech Solutions from Tennessee, Home Tech Solutions from Tennessee, thank you for throwing that 50 in just now. It gives me hope and it inspires me. And, you know, look, you know, I'm such an emotional empath. I care about people so deeply, even people I don't know.
No, you
that
don't.
often doing these fundraisers can make me cry right here in front of everybody. And so, Daniel, who I want Eric.
I don't know if this person they're fundraising for has been vetted whatsoever to know if what he's fundraising for is true or not.
The only sign we've had from this guy was he did a super chat either yesterday or the day before, whenever Chili was last live.
Yeah, he did a $10 super chat, so it's
or at least someone claiming to be him did a $10 super chat. But there is, there's like no video of this guy. He doesn't have a channel. He doesn't have a Twitter presence. He doesn't
I
have a
thought he
Facebook
had
presence.
videos. I thought he had videos out of that little dog that in his picture.
I haven't seen him, but I mean, but how
I've
hard
heard other
would
people
it be?
mention him. Well, I've
But
seen
what?
people make all sorts of claims and GoFundMe's to find out they were lying their ass off.
Jim, when he super chatted Chili the other day, it was a really weird channel name, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was something American.
That was
I don't
American.
really.
Yeah, Eric, American something.
Yeah.
Right.
Barbie, the fundraisers for
No,
DLC Clips was for his cat, I believe.
Yeah, it was for his cat.
Well, we all know the story behind the getting duped into helping somebody when their house got exploded after a fire when it was hit with ball lightning.
consistent Daniel has been in, and I think Dan, when was our last live? Because I think Dan, I think that's, let me see if you, okay, no, we got your last 50 in. Okay, because just so you guys know, Dan donated $50 on the 18th, and then Dan donated $50 on the 21st, and then he donated 50 on the 24th.
That's my gut feeling, Dan, is that
Chuck, what are you, Chuck? What?
This is not a legitimate
Chuck,
fundraiser.
Chuck, put your wallet away. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Chuck, what? No way.
You're right. His cat's anus, to be exact.
Chuck? Chuck put in $400 more. Chuck, no way, dude. You got to stop.
The fundraiser DLC Clips, when I said was about his cat, Dan said his cat's anus, to be exact.
Alrighty then.
Prolapse.
Alrighty then.
Manager, and I called a hedge fund manager friend of mine. Chuck, God bless you, dude. Chuck has now put in $800 today. God bless this man. God bless this man for what he's done. Thank you so much, Chuck. Because Chuck knows that I won't stop. And he's just, Chuck. It's too much. You gotta stop, dude. That's too much money, Chuck. That's amazing, dude. Thank you. Thank you for donating, Chuck. I mean,
well, if you know your people are giving more money than they can afford to give, quit fucking begging for it.
That is amazing. Someone just gave $800 to someone they don't know. Are you kidding me, bro? Unbelievable. How do you give?
Cue the fake tears.
Guy gave $800. This dude gave $800 today to someone that he doesn't know. Like, look, like there is the money that one person gave, and Dan and Chevy and these guys who have come in heavy. I mean, you guys don't know, but I think Chevy is about the same as Chuck. I think Chevy's around $800 as well. I think you don't see Chevy's name because he donates the money directly to me, but Chevy and Chuck in there, and Dan, who I don't, Dan donates directly to me as well, and Marcy. And look at the money. Look at the money that people put in for someone they don't know. Wow, 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 bro, you are my Quan. You are my Quan, bro. You are the most selfless, amazing man. One of the most selfless, amazing men who I know on planet Earth. And so is Chevy, and so is Dan, and so is Mark, and so is Eric, and so many of you who have Butch the original, and people who, I mean, look at how much.
I'm not sure, DCW.
It's just my gut's telling me if this was true, there's so many charitable organizations out there that would help him get into a wheelchair and ocular device and whatnot.
Well, the wheelchair that he wanted was $2,995. He has more than raised that much. And also, I know somebody even offered a wheelchair in one of his chats, and that person promptly got banned.
Probably. But it's not the model he wants.
Much money that someone's giving to somebody that they don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Unbelievable. I hope that you're okay. Just sent $10 on PayPal. UCAN TV. Thank you. Thank you so much, UCAN. Let me check my PayPal. UCAN TV just came through with another 10 bucks. There it is right there, as he promised. If you have a company and your name is on your company, now's a good time to promote because right here from Canco, they just threw in their 10 bucks. They just threw in the 10. Thank you, man. Thank you. I'll put that in. So I got that 50 and I got 10, so I got 60 more coming in. Did I have PayPal? Did I have super chat money come through here, Team DLZ? Colin, I mean, I'm just overwhelmed that between you guys who have donated, there's some of y'all who have put in like so much money. It's unbelievable. We are now $2,000 away from the goal. We are now $2,000 away from the goal right now. I guess when I said earlier, if you have an uncle or a friend, I guess I could have just said, do you have Uncle Chuck or Uncle Chevy or Uncle Dan? do you have any of those guys any of those guys your uncle? Top Rock throwing in some dough, Monk Law throwing in, Butch the Original throwing in. We are $2,000 away. So I've got 60. I got 60 coming in. Let me put my 60 in that the people donated. Let me just put that in right now so that we can see that money go in. Let me put that money in right now so that it's in, so that we got 60 more on there. Wow, Chuck. I mean, bro, Chevy, like, dude, like, Dan, like, the people, everybody, Gary who put in, like, all of you folks who have put in, like, there it is. I just popped that. I put that next 60 in right there, so it's out of my, so that I'm okay with what I've done. And so there's that 60 right there that y'all just donated. There it is. And there's Chuck's 400. And so, okay, that was just overwhelming for me. UCAN TV, I just got 10 in there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, it was so funny too, because I just got done saying that sometimes these things can overwhelm me. And it's like guys like Chuck who, dude, I haven't even given back nearly enough yet. I haven't done nearly enough yet. And I can say one thing for sure, because of people, and I can mention their names 4,000 times, but because of the people here on this team, this is what drives me. You inspire me. You motivate me. Dan consistently kept sending me money for his wheelchair, and I have to, thank you. Wow. And so this one right here said, ex-police officer here, give him hell. I left police work due to the bad cops. Morals wouldn't let me stay. Our top officer got busted 3 years after I left for running a chop shop, for stealing cars and running a chop shop. Thanks for chiming in, man. And to the ex-cops out there there's a few of you guys who I'm in touch with right now on email. Thanks for your emails. And thanks for joining Team DLZ. Look, the reason why I'm mean to cops on the streets is because of the videos we saw today. This is why I'm cruel and mean to them with my knowledge and my rights. And this is why I'm a jerk to them, because I see these videos. It makes me mad. You join that team and it makes me mad. But right now, I just want to finish this. Fundraiser. So yeah, hey, S101, that if you get a trifold or a poster or an ebook, that not only educates you, it also supports me and my partner, Team DLZ, Colin over there working hard, editing all the time. And if you guys are seeing some videos where I use curse language, I don't curse anymore. I try not to curse anymore, at least F words like that and stuff, but I don't curse anymore. So the last few clips that have come out are like a year old, and we're going to even stop showing the cursing. We're just going to cut those sentences out, because I don't know if that's the best way to represent this brand as we move forward and move into government positions. One government position, governor or bust. Everything else, you get told what to do, and you don't have the executive power, and you can't say, I'm in charge and I will make the decision, because I will make the decision to change policing, and they won't be able to stop it because I'll be the executive in charge. And that's the reason why so many trolls hate me.
You really think the governor has all that fucking power? And as a governor, you're going to be able to say no to federal laws. You're a fucking idiot. Go fuck yourself, Chili.
And they're afraid of me because I will win the governorship, and I will change policing from the top down. You guys remember, I've only been known for a year and a half. Nobody knew who I was a year and a half ago. Nobody knew who I was. So now you know who I am. Okay, so cool. I think we're good here. Let's take a look at this fundraiser. Let me refresh, and I think that we're good for now. We'll take a little break. That was super emotional for me. And so Chuck, God bless you. Chevy, God bless you. Let's refresh this one more time. And so we literally are $2,000 away. I'm going to call my rich uncle tonight when we get off this phone. I'm going to call my rich uncle. I'm going to call him, and I'm going to see if we can finish this bad chicken. But I'm going to see if he'll come on the live tomorrow, and we can finish this bad chicken. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. So thank you guys for your donations. Charles, thank you for coming through. Marcy, thank you for coming through. Gary, Eric, thank you for coming through. Dan, thank you for coming through. Mark, thank you. Top Rock, Monk's Law, thank you. Tom Shaw, Victor, thank you. Victor Burrell, Richard, thank you. David McDonald, appreciate you. And Cope Doggy Dog! Where is that Cope Doggy? I miss Cope Dog. Where is the Cope Doggy Dog? Miss you, Copey. I know he's doing an early morning schedule right now. Once again, another one of those people who I have a deep bond with and a kinship. Cope Doggy Dog. I have so many people that I've built this amazing friendship with, and we are kindred spirits because we both are empaths. We both care about others. We both are giving and loving people, and I have this amazing bond with so many people now. And now I have
Are
to, like,
both of you absolutely full of shit?
after
Because we
this
know
is
you
so I gotta
are.
shut down my phone and shut down my brain and just let myself meditate because I'm gonna worry about Chuck now. I'm gonna call you, Chuck, when this live is over and make sure you have $800 extra. Madison Lee is in the room. I haven't seen you in a while, Madison. What's going on? Madison Lee, what's going on? How are you? Good to see you. Iron Wolf, how are you? Nice to see you. Iron Wolf said Chili got arrested. Chili got arrested. Yeah. I did get arrested a few months ago by Las Vegas Metro Police Department. I sued them for violating my rights. I got arrested in Ironton, Ohio. I sued them for violating my rights. They tried to revoke my bond for peacefully protesting and put me in the murderous Lawrence County Jail. So I left Ohio on a misdemeanor warrant, and I won't go back until the warrant is quashed because they would have tried to kill me in that jail for peacefully protesting.
You ran like a little scared bitch because you're afraid you're going to have to spend some time in jail. You fucking pussy.
Because I pointed out how corrupt their rehab centers are, where all the county commissioners and the judges and the prosecutors own the rehab centers. So when they tried to have a bond hearing for me, I left that bond hearing and I got the hell out of Ohio because they would have put me in Lawrence County Jail where they would have tried to kill me. And and just so Iron Wolf knows, I will probably get arrested again. And I'll probably get arrested again because you know why? How come? Why is that? Why is it? How come it is? We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We do not stop until we change the system, until we get to executive power, so that we can change the system of peace officers back to peace officers, so that you and I get access to every single camera that the government has cameras. And that kills Big Brother. This is the plan. We get cameras in every courtroom in America, from your local town to all the way up to the federal and Supreme Court. We have to have cameras at every single turn, where we have a system of cameras that we get access to. As long as we have law enforcers and they have cameras that we don't get access to, it's just going to get worse for us. So Eric's fundraiser, we're $2,000 away. Let me shut his fundraiser now. Cool. If anybody else donates to me over this week, just put the term wheelchair on there and I will bring it out on the next live. I'll show you my PayPal, my Venmo, my Cash App. And I'm confused about a payment, and I want to make sure. So if Dan, when you see this, make sure that we talk. I want to make sure that 50 that you gave me last time went into the last fundraiser. I might just put it in anyway so that my conscience is clear, because I don't want anybody. I want your donation to go to Eric's wheelchair until it's done. And I'm going to call my rich uncle when we get off the phone, and I'm going to tell him we got $2,000 to go. And I'm going to ask him. He's not my uncle. He's just a friend of mine. But I'm going to call my friend who is a hedge fund manager when we get off the phone and ask him if he will put in the last $2,000. I'm just going to ask him. What's he going to say? No? Okay, fine. He says no. But I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him. No, I'm not rich, but what it requires. So I'm not sure if you know who this woman was, but she was greatly violated by the police. I've talked to her a couple times. There's a real process to doing lawsuits and doing law. And so you have to be really tuned into that. And, I can't sue for everybody. I'm in DLZ Clips. Are you going to do that video?
He's not ultra rich. He's ultra stupid. He's filing frivolous lawsuits for his only expense out of pocket is $402 a piece.
Which he crowdfunds for, so it's not even out of his pocket.
Yep. But he didn't have to crowdfund for a $2,000 lawyer.
No, that money came out of nowhere.
As he's trying to fundraise for a wheelchair. Makes you wonder.
Kind of interesting.
I'm gonna get that video done that's going to show the lawsuits that I'm in. We're going to get it done in the next day or two. We put everything together for it, and we're going to show it. And okay, I'll call him now. Sure, I'll call him right now. That's a good idea. Let's call Chuck right now. Chuck, I'm calling you right now. I'm going to call you right now. I'm calling Chuck right now. I'm calling you right now, Chuck. He may not pick up. He's not a real public guy. He's shy. Maybe he doesn't want his voice heard. I don't know. Let's see. Hey, Chuck, I got you live right now. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
You got $800 this month extra?
Not really, but it's all good.
What do you mean you don't? What? I mean, what are you doing? You got enough money?
Listen, these are investments I'm making.
All right. No, I didn't call to bitch you out. I called to say thank you. I just hope you're okay. I know you're not rich, so I hope that you're all right.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
All right.
No.
Well, there's lots of people listening. Is there anything you want to say to the people? Why are you giving this amount of money?
How the hell would making donations for a wheelchair be an investment?
It might be an investment in chili. Once he's governor, what does he owe to Chuck?
Why are you donating like this?
You know why? Because chili is the real deal.
You're donating for me?
On behalf of you. You brought this forward with Eric, and Eric is truly in need. Let's make it happen.
I love you, buddy. I'll call you when we get off live, okay?
Yeah. What proof has he shown that Eric is in need?
What proof has he shown that Eric is real? It's...
All right.
Okay, take care.
Love you.
Love you too. First, Chuck, God bless you, dude. Thank you. Chuck's not rich. Chuck doesn't have an extra $800 laying around. He doesn't. He pulled this out of his piggy bank. Mulaney said 28. Can I? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Top Rock. Thank you. We don't stop, Top Rock. We won't stop. I'm calling my friend when we get off this. And this one says from Mulaney that there was 28 deaths at the Lawrence County Jail. 28 more deaths at the Lawrence County Jail. The sheriffs there are psychotic and feed off of power and assaulting helpless humans. This is why I left Ohio for a misdemeanor warrant. This is why I left, because they kill people in that jail. A lot of people die. One of the first interviews I did was about a kid who was murdered in that jail. And as soon as I found that out and they were trying to revoke my bond for peacefully protesting, I left. So thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Is he trying to say there was 28 more deaths than the last year in Lawrence County Jail?
I think so.
That sounds a bit much. I think that would be cause for concern.
Guys.
I mean, 28 deaths in the last year in the Clark County Jail might not be too alarming of a figure, but Lawrence County is not that big of a county.
Oh boy, they wish I would be. I'm sure they'd offer me a job if I would just stop. Gloria, we don't stop. Gloria just threw in her $5. Thanks a lot. All right, listen, I could sit here all night. Oh, you got a premiere coming out at 9 p.m. So everybody, drop the link for that. Got a premiere coming out in 4 minutes. Let's segue over there. I'm going to start it on here, and then I'm going to cut this live off. So to all y'all who donated, Dwayne, what you can do is you can go to my inquiry form and you can do your donation, and I'll gladly call you if you match an $800 donation. So that's no problem. But before I call you, I'm gonna have to see your donation come in, and then you send me an inquiry form, and then I'll take a look at your email. But gotta actually do it first, because it is what it is. But let's focus real quick on Team DLZ. Thank you, Michael. God bless you, dude. I agree. Chuck P, you are absolutely the man. You're absolutely the man. Thank you so much. Anyway, listen, we got a premiere coming up in just 3 minutes here. So let me pop over to Delete Law's clips real quick. Actually, I gotta get out of here. Go over to Delete Law's clips and watch the premiere. He's got a premiere coming out right now in 3 minutes. It's one of my old videos, so I don't know which one it is. He cut that bad chicken up. So take a look at that. You guys, thank you for coming to this TED Talk and to this fundraiser. Dragnet Transparency, thank you for sharing your videos, and I hope everybody subscribes to her. And Eric, we're only $2,000 away. Chevy and Chuck and Dan and Eric and Gary and Marcy and Gloria and everybody who donated any amount of money, thank you so much. If I didn't say your name, I'll say your name next time. Okay, God bless you. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. I'll see you on the next one. Later, Gators.
All righty then.
I am now on my phone using data because I can't get on the internet.
Okay. Trying to get the next video up. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
Talky, talky, talk.
At least the thunder isn't extremely loud anymore. I just have two scared, shaking dogs under my feet.
Yeah, it looks like it's about to be my turn. I just saw lightning out there.
Lovely spring weather. Oh no,
It's summer now.
It's summer now.
Yeah, it's been summer for about 5 days.
Oh no, Carrie T, I can't be outside on my phone right now. I would get soaked and my phone would get waterlogged. Um, no, the thunder doesn't scare the baby. Not at all. Good night, Gia.
Get two pups that are scared of thunder, but they can be quite a handful.
Carrie T, I
They
have
really hate
a
fireworks.
yeah, fireworks are a completely different story. I have a almost 15-year-old Shih Tzu Cottontail Tuliar mix and a Cavalier King Charles that is 7 years old.
All right. Here's the live from last night for Chile.
And so I just wanted to jump on for a few minutes and say hello and see how everybody was doing. You know, life is full of ups and downs and highs
He's
and
about to
lows.
have
And
some audio
listen, you know,
issues
every
coming up that
time
last
I
a
come
few
on here,
minutes.
it's a call to action. It's a call for you to join in exactly what we're doing and what the whole plan is. So if you're watching this right now, the $1 million question is, what have you done to advance yourself? How much have you learned? How much have you researched? You know, I can't, let me see if I can get my computer.
Well, at least he's not driving.
For a change.
One second. One second, real quick. I'm just going to see if I can do this here.
Very true, Carrie. Yet.
One second. Okie dokie. I think that we're in my thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this in the stream. There we are. Now I can see everybody. And I will exit off the screen over here.
Tivies!
So, you know, there's $1 million question here that I always want to ask people, and it's, what are you doing right now?
Oops.
Oops.
Stop. That's a fact. No matter what happens, we do not stop. There's no point in stopping.
Really can't talk.
Why would we want to go back to our progress? And often when I go back to
And this is what his streaming is like when he has nobody that knows what they're doing, helping him. Mel, that's his end. He messed up his tech. I
There we
thought
go.
he
Can you guys
switched
hear me now?
devices
Give me
so
a
he
5 by
could
5.
see his chat.
Give me a 5 by 5 if you guys can hear me in the 1 by 5. How about, are we okay now?
And then ignored his chat telling him he had no sound.
No, I don't smoke weed, my friend. I have smoked weed in my life. Can you guys hear me? Give me a 5 by 5.
There, he said it.
Okay, cool. Is the sound all right? You guys can hear me okay?
He has
Yeah,
not
you know, listen,
smoked weed
I
in
try to
his
stay
life.
focused on the message, and there's times when I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to misspeak sometimes. Sometimes I'm going to say the wrong things. And, you know, I go live all the time. And so when you go live, there is a cost to that. If you make a mistake when you're live, there's no editing that out or cutting it or retracting it. And so right now, for the 300 people who are in here, I'm live. Do me a favor. Since I'm live, hit the like button. Take your finger real quick and just hit on the like button. Hit the like button. Just take your finger and just tap it right there.
And he's lying, Carrie.
Out here, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions. So when we talk about Supreme Court cases and the case log, do we understand overall together that the problem that you and I have is the Supreme Court? Everybody always said, the Supreme Court said, the Supreme Court ruled, the Supreme Court held. The truth is, though, is that the Supreme Court is our problem.
If you're talking, Hank, you're muted.
Okay, let's try it this time. How come every one of his shows has a new the one major problem that's causing all the, like, now it's the Supreme Court. Before it was Terry v. Ohio. Before that, gee, take your pick. It's police officers being law enforcement instead of peace officers and all this other bullshit.
If you believe, let me put it the other way. If you don't believe that someone should be appointed to a position in government for life, put a 1 in the chat. If there should be no governor, no mayor, no assemblyman, there should be no city council member, there should be nobody who is appointed to government for life. If you agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. No person should be appointed to a government position. If you think about that, who's seen the movie 300? I've seen the movie 300. I've seen it 100 times. Well, 10.
What does 300
When
have
you've
to
seen the
do with
movie 300, what do you
SCOTUS
see? You
whatsoever?
look back and there's these
I haven't seen the movie.
there's these like gods, and they're around a fire, and they're kind of melding and molting and melding and molting, and you're just like, what are these people? Those are the people who are appointed for life in government. Our biggest problem, your biggest problem, and my biggest problem is the Supreme Court. It's an unelected body appointed by oligarchs. Put a 1 in the chat if you're not from a family with an oligarch. I guarantee you.
Okay, I have no fucking clue how he's getting references to 300 out to anything within government. But okay, Chili, go for it.
Dennis Sperling. Dennis Sperling. This is a buddy of mine. Dennis Sperling's an attorney out of Houston, Texas, and he is a true leader. If you go to his community tab, this man down here has got a community of people that are engaged with him. That's amazing. Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate you, man. God bless you. So if you do not have if you're not from an oligarch family where you're not a billionaire or a multimillionaire, put a 1 in the chat. Because let me just give you one. I'm not a billionaire and I'm not a multimillionaire, but yet we keep on appointing to the Supreme Court from the oligarch class who will do the bidding for the ultra elite and the ultra rich. We know that to be a fact with Clarence Thomas. That's what we're looking at today. That's what we're looking at. You know, I really wish I was in my studio right now, but it just so happened that the timing ended up that I was here and we had a live set for 7 p.m. And then I had to eventually just go, okay, let's just shoot this thing because I don't want to leave anybody waiting. So I'm going to do a big, huge wall of history again, but I'm going to do it a little bit different this time. I'm going to show you guys.
You mean you'll tell the truth?
Example, when I say Terry versus Ohio, who do you blame for that? What do we blame currently? We blame the police for Terry versus Ohio. We blame the police for Terry stopping us. But who really did it? Who really did it? The Supreme Court did it. Earl Warren did it, a supposable liberal Supreme Court justice. Not very liberal to say the police can stop you and detain you based on their suspicion. Who signs up to be police? Who does it? People sign up to be cops. Who are they? Anybody have a family member who's a cop in their family? The guys signing up to be cops, the men and women signing up to be cops, they shouldn't be able to look at me and decide that they're reasonably suspicious of me and be able to detain me, because that jumped the shark. It left the realm of, oh, this guy's running down the road with boxes in his arm and there's an alarm going off. That would be reasonable suspicion. It got to the point now where reasonable articulable suspicion is saying, well, I saw Chili and he was out after dark and this is a high crime neighborhood. How many people have heard this is a high crime neighborhood? How many people have heard that before? This is a high crime neighborhood. This is a high crime neighborhood. Put a 1 in the chat if you ever heard it. How many times have you watched police videos on YouTube or TikTok, Rick Rock, or Instagram, and the cop pulls up and he says, this is a high crime neighborhood? Well, that now equates to reasonable articulable suspicion. And who are they reasonably articulable suspicious of? You. But the point of reasonable articulable suspicion is there's supposed to be a singular articulable fact that would lead them to criminality, that you've done something criminal. Do you agree with that? Because that's not what's happening. What's happening in our country is cops are seeing people who they just don't like and saying, oh, I'm reasonably suspicious of you. How many times have I been pulled over? You guys see me pulled over 4 or 5 times the past couple of years, and the cops want to grab me and put their hands on me. Why do you think that you have the right to grab me and put your hands on me? The Supreme Court did that in the 1968.
That's not all true.
That extends into MIMS. I will continue to talk about Terry versus Ohio until we get rid of it. Until one of us gets to governor power where we can at least change Terry versus Ohio in the state that we're in. You must have probable cause to engage with somebody as a policeman, as a peace officer.
Apple Valley, I don't recall them putting their hands on him, or when he got pulled over for speeding in Southern California right before that time, before he pulled over for that young girl in the car. They didn't put hands on him then either. Just saying. Are you muted, Hank?
Yes, I was. The only time they put hands on him is during his 2 arrests. While the video's rolling, I'm talking to my dogs and keep muting my mic and forgetting about it. Whoops.
Oh, sorry.
My fault.
I don't even like the term law enforcers because they are not law enforcers. Not a single person in America signed up and has a law enforcement agreement. None of them. They all have a peace officers agreement. So the next thing that I'm building out, where I'm building a huge graphic, is showing you how the Supreme Court over the past, I mean, you go back to the Supreme Court, back to 1896, back to 1857, you go back to the Supreme Court, you could say 1803 Marbury versus Madison, but 1803 Marbury versus Madison, that's where the Supreme Court said that the Constitution is the rule of law, that is the supreme law of the land. And so I've got some friends out there who are anarchists or volunteerists, and I've said a couple things, so I just want to kind of clear the record. We're not living by the rule of law here. We're not living under an anarchist system or a volunteer system here in America. We're living under a tyrannical police state, prison state, death state. That's an absolute fact. That's what we're living under today. A police state, prison state, death state. This is not constitutional.
If it's absolutely fact, then show absolute receipts over your absolute fucking facts. You don't have them because this is not a police state. You fucking idiot. If it was the police state that you're claiming it to be, you wouldn't be able to exist in doing what you're doing.
Law. This is not anarchism. This is not volunteerism. Any one of those three systems would be better than the absolute police state that we live in today. That's an absolute fact. As long as you and I, and so when you guys see me, and I'm going to segue just a little bit here, but I want to ask you a question. When you guys see me and I'm talking to a copper and I'm letting him know that he's not going to step on my rights and that I can say whatever I want and I can do whatever I want because there is no core criminal conduct. And you're going to get this from the Model Penal Code that's going to be drafted in 1952 and finished in 1962.
You cannot do whatever you want.
You have with a copper, there has to be a core criminal conduct. Put that in the chat. Core criminal conduct. If there is no core criminal conduct, then there's no reason for you to be involving yourself with me as a peace officer. Have you heard of that before? Has anybody ever heard of? Let me look at the comments real quick. Core criminal conduct. Thank you.
You mean like obstructing
then the police should not be
obstructing a police officer in a traffic stop?
In the case that Las Vegas is pressing against me for filming a cop one day, him losing his ish and arresting me, and I'm not going to.
No, Chili. You did not get arrested for filming. Quit lying to yourself and everybody else. You were arrested because you were interfering. Your interference in that stop was putting that person that was pulled over's safety in jeopardy and the officer's safety into jeopardy. That's why it's fucking illegal, you fucking idiot. Pull your head free from that fucking ass of yours and fucking look around in the real fucking world. Amount to something with your fucking life, you asshole.
You guys know me, right? I am not going to let it go. I am going to sue them till the end of time. That's a fact. I will not back down. I will not step off my rights. There's nothing anybody can say that's going to get me to step down from my constitutional rights that are ratified in the Bill of Rights in 1793.
Yes, you're gonna have to back down when they dismiss with prejudice your fucking bullshit lawsuits. You have nothing in any of the lawsuits that you've either got for yourself or helped other people with. You're fucking wasting everybody's goddamn time. Get a fucking life and get a job, you fucking prick.
That is not going to happen. I will die standing on my rights if need be. You all can watch me die standing on my rights if need be. But what I will not do is turn to violence. What I will not do is launch some sort of revolutionary war. I am not that guy. If you were hoping I was, you're on the wrong place. I believe we change things through petition, peaceful protest. Petition, speech, peaceful protest, press. And there's just a few of the First Amendment right there. We must change this country, which brings me back to the original question I had starting this live. What have you done to educate yourself about the Supreme Court cases that have fundamentally stripped us of our...
No, he wants somebody else to start a civil war and him to remain off in safety and come in and
take credit later.
Reap all the rewards from said civil war. He's too big of a chicken shit to want to fight for anything.
Of our constitutional rights. If you don't know them, then people contact me all the time and they say, hey, how can I help you? And I say, you can learn the cases that I know. You can learn your constitutional rights inside now. That's how you're going to be the biggest help because I'm going into government 100%, 100,000%, because I can win, because I'm electable, because I can raise the money, because I'm charismatic, and because I have the education to get into the government at the very highest level.
You're only electable if it's now an elected position to be the head fluffer on set.
State, which would be the governorship. The governor has executive power. For example, we saw that in Florida when the governor there said, I'm not going to mandatory make people take medication. And then the hospital workers didn't have to take mandatory medication. The jail workers didn't have to take medical medication. And that's the point. We have to get one of us who's for justice, for freedom, for liberty. We have to get to the highest office in the land. Now, the presidency would be nice, but I wasn't born into a super rich family. I wasn't born into privilege. And so I believe that what I'm going to shoot for is the governorship now. Look, Grover Cleveland, he ascended into the presidency twice, lost, and won the re-election the second time, and I believe that's going to be 1896,
Oh my fucking God, he's got aspirations for president. Jesus fucking Christ, the
Yeah, but
losing
Hank,
is big in this one.
yeah, but Hank, he's playing from the 1800s. Life's changed since then.
And remember, he thinks a governor is a president of a state.
Of course, or the emperor. I'm kind of curious when the last president that didn't at least have a bachelor's degree made it into office.
pretty sure 18 because he wins in 1889. He wins, and then he loses after 1892, and then he wins again, I believe, in 1896. But someone can fact check that because I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. But I believe that I can get to the governorship, and at the governorship level, I can change things. You know, for example, the central bank digital currency. That's a way to turn on and off your wallet if the government doesn't like what you're doing. The 2026 infrastructure bill, where they want to put a kill switch in your car, and they can turn your car on and off by clicking a button. They also want to put cameras inside your car, inside of the 2026 infrastructure bill, which when I'm governor, I'm going to say, no, you can't do it. The residents of this state do not want to be monitored by the government with a camera in their car or have a kill switch.
Glad he figured out what a kill switch was.
Has he figured out what a kill switch really is? Or does he still think it kills people in the car?
Just brilliant what they had written down. And that's going to be, it's going to be Kent versus Dulles. Kent versus Dulles. In that case, I believe it's going to be 1958. And in the 1958 case of Kent versus Dulles, it says that you do not have to get a license to drive. You guys can break down the whole case. It's on oyez.org. oyez.org. You can put Kent versus Dulles, oyez.org. As a matter of fact, let me pull it up and show it to you guys so you guys can see it. It's here. Sorry about that. Claudette said something over here. What's going on? That's right. The reason I go at the cops is because it takes a man to enforce the tyrannical laws that are being pushed upon us. It takes a man to do that. A human being has to be willing to do that to another person. I am unwilling to do that.
If it takes a man, what are you do? What are you trying to do it for then? You're not a man. You're a beta cuck bitch.
Wishful thinking on his part, maybe?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many times you tell everybody you're an alpha, you're not. You're not even a fucking man.
To another person, I would not treat any of you guys the way the police in this country treat people. And this goes back. I'm going to educate you now. I'm going to give you a case, and then I'm going to show you one more case so that together we can learn our Supreme Court cases where the Supreme Court consistently rules against us. In this one particular case, we did get a little liberty in Kent versus Dulles. Let me read this bad chicken to you. So this is Kent versus Dulles right here. Let me see what you guys can see. In Kent versus Dulles in 1958. Was that right? I was right. It was 58. Great. My years, I get a little jumbled. And again, this is going to be from the Warren Court, which means Earl Warren, if you're unfamiliar. And Rockwell Kent applied for and was refused a passport to visit England. In addition to informing him that his application refusal rested on his Communist Party's affiliations, the passport director told Kent that in order for a passport to be issued, a hearing would be necessary. The director instructed Kent to submit an affidavit as to whether he was a current or past communist. Upon the advice of counsel, Kent refused to sign the affidavit, but did participate in a hearing at which he was asked more than once to sign an affidavit concerning his communist affiliations. When he refused the affidavit, the passport company advised Kent that no further action would be taken on his passport request until he satisfied the affidavit requirement. On appeal from consecutive adverse rulings in both district and appellate court, the Supreme Court granted Kent certiorari, meaning that his case could be heard at the Supreme Court. And so now every time you hear about a Supreme Court case, thank you, Mr. Waldo Baldo, I just saw that. Thank you, sir. Every time you read about a Supreme Court case, I want to teach you guys something that you may not have known yesterday. The Supreme Court does not rule. That's not what the Supreme Court does. The Supreme Court holds to be constitutional, or it is not held to be constitutional. It's either struck down or it's upheld to be constitutional. A simple example of that would be that the legislature in Kansas creates a law that says you can't interrupt an assemblyman during a conference because that would be against the law. And they put it through the legislature, it passes, and it's signed by the governor, or if it's an ordinance by the mayor. And so now once it's signed into law, then the Supreme Court, someone sues and says, hey, they said that I couldn't interrupt an assemblyman in conference, and I disagree with that because I do have the right to speech. It goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme
Yes, there can be laws against you interrupting a process. They can make rules limiting when you can speak. You can't just barge into Congress and start yelling about whatever trips your fucking trigger because there's laws and rules against it, you fucking idiot.
Supreme Court would strike down that law in Kansas that makes it so that you can't speak, because that's unconstitutional. You're born with the liberty of speech. You're born with the right to speak. Now, if they said that you were allowed to speak, and that was the law, I'm just giving a silly example so it's easy to understand. If they said that you were allowed to speak when anybody else speaks, then the Supreme Court would uphold or hold the constitutional to be constitutional. So now here, the constitutional question, every time you look at something, could the Executive Passport Department defer or refuse the issuance of passports to individuals suspected of being communists or traveling abroad to further communist causes? And this was a 5-4 decision. And the cool part about OYAs, I'm not sure if you can see that up here, you can click by ideology. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 conservatives voted against it, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half so-called liberals voted for it. But at the Supreme Court level, they're both on the same side. In a 5-4 decision, the court held that the right to travel is an inherent element of liberty that cannot be denied to American citizens. So this would also apply to the BS driver's license scam that's done upon all of us.
Bullshit.
Although the
It
executive
has
may
nothing to
regulate
do
travel
with the
practices of citizens
driver's
by requiring them
license,
to
you
obtain
fucking prick.
valid passports, it may condition the fulfillment of such requirements with the imposition of the rules that abridge basic constitutional notions of liberty, assembly, association, and personal autonomy. So in this particular case, the Supreme Court got it right. However, a lot of the times, most of the times, when we talk about losing our rights, it comes from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's the one who strips away our liberties because you have a bunch of people appointed for life. And that's, you have to understand what the problem is. It's the Supreme Court, scholar. That's what it is. As you get into your scholarly studies, it's the Supreme Court that's working against you and working against me in a regular fashion. And even this one, the right for you, in Kent versus Dole's, if we had lost that right, if we had lost the right in Kent versus Dole's to be able to get a passport and be able to travel freely abroad, then we would have a locked-in police state in the United States of America. You wouldn't be able to leave the country. From a 1958 case called Kent versus Dole's, you would be locked here. If the government, because once they take an inch, they take a mile. Once they take a single solitary bit of rights from us, look what's going on after the flu of 2020. Now there's no more government services. You can't go to a lot of government places. They want to change out the currency to a central banking digital currency, because had they had central banking digital currency in 2020 and had they had a kill switch in your car in 2020, they would have mandatorily made you take a medication. And if you didn't, they would have turned off your wallet and turned off your car. That's the dangers of allowing a federal government to have too much power. And this is the reason that we have the Second Amendment. So now I'm going to show you another case here.
You're muted again, Hank.
Yeah. Maybe if we had better ways to restrict people's movement, the fucking pandemic wouldn't have lasted as long as it fucking did because of idiots like you.
Well said, Hank.
H-E-I-E-N. North Carolina was a decision by the United States Supreme Court. Let me see what you guys can see. Sorry about that. So this is going to be Keene versus North Carolina. North Carolina was a decision by the United States Supreme Court ruling that a police officer's reasonable mistake of the law can provide the individual suspicion required by the... See, but it's a lie. There is no... Even this is a lie. It's just a lie. The way they word this is untrue. The Fourth Amendment, just so you know. So it's a decision by the Supreme Court holding the police officer's reasonable mistake of the law can provide individualized suspicion required by the Fourth Amendment. That's not true. The Fourth Amendment requires probable cause, not reasonable suspicion. So where does this reasonableized suspicion come in? Make a reasonable mistake, provide an individualized suspicion. That comes from Terry versus Ohio.
The word reasonable in the Fourth Amendment, that's where that reasonable suspicion is derived from.
Ohio. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So this is a case in 2014, and I wanted to go over these oral arguments, and I want to listen to them. If you guys are down, and that's cool, I want people to listen to this. Now listen to the facts of the case. Let me make sure you guys can see it clear. Now let's take a look at the facts of this case, and this is important. On April 29, 2010, Sergeant Darius of the Surrey County Sheriff's Department observed Manuel Javier Vasquez driving north on 177 with a broken taillight. When Darius pulled over the vehicle, he noticed another man, Nicholas Hine, lying under a blanket in the back seat. Darius spoke with the two men, felt that their stories did not match up. Okay, so what did we learn right here? Do you see this? Darius spoke with the two men and found that their stories did not match up. What the police will do when they pull you and a friend over is they will separate you and they'll ask you questions. This is why you say, I don't answer questions. Because if they separate you and you say, oh, we were just heading to Tulsa, oh, we were just going to stop over here in Anytown, and you have two different stories because you were going to stop at Anytown and go to that burger and get that burger before you kept on going on to Tulsa, because to get to Tulsa is going to take you 7 hours, but to get to Anytown is going to take you 4 hours. And so you planned your meal that you were going to stop in Anytown. But then when you get pulled over by the cop, he separates you. You start answering questions. Your friend says, oh, we're just heading to Tulsa. The other guy says, oh, we're just going to Anytown to get a burger. Now the cop has heard two different stories. This is why you don't answer questions to the police, especially if they separate you from your friend. They'll pull you apart because you'll get someone like myself who will tell the cop, go have a ham sandwich, go pound sand. And sometimes I'm a little bit meaner than that. Sometimes I'm a little bit more harsh than that. And they'll say, oh, your friend over here is having a hard time. What's up with him? What's his deal? At that point, you say, I'm not going to be answering any questions. He says, oh, just tell me where you
No, that's not the case.
right?
They separate them so that they don't get their story together.
Yeah.
You're setting your friend up and yourself up for a wild ride. And listen to what we're hearing here. Darius spoke with the two men, felt that their stories didn't match up, and was concerned that Heen had not gotten up from the back seat. Darius asked for permission to search the vehicle. Heen agreed, and Darius found a bag containing 54.2 grams of cocaine in the car. A grand jury indicted Heen for 2 counts of trafficking cocaine. Heen filed a motion to suppress the evidence discovered during the search of his vehicle. And
54.2 grams is a lot of cocaine, isn't it?
I'm not 100% sure because I've never had to measure cocaine before, but I can look that up.
Sounds like a lot of cocaine to me.
And the trial court denied the motion. The North Carolina
If you
Court of Appeals
keep
reversed
saying
the trial court and held
cocaine, you know who's going to come out.
Only when I yell pull.
traffic stop was objectively reasonable because North Carolina law only requires 1 working taillight. The North Carolina Supreme Court reversed and held that when an officer's mistake of the law is reasonable, it may give rise to the reasonable suspicion from Terry versus Ohio required for a traffic stop.
You only need to have 1 working taillight in North Carolina? Wow. That sounds dangerous.
Of a vehicle under the 4th Amendment. So this is, just so you know, when they changed Terry versus Ohio, now they say the 4th Amendment standard is reasonable suspicion. The 4th Amendment standard is not reasonable suspicion. But now they're writing it in all of these holdings. This case is, guess what, based off of Terry versus Ohio. Terry versus Ohio changed your 4th Amendment. It may give rise to the reasonable suspicion required for a traffic stop of the vehicle under the 4th Amendment. That is a bald-faced, absolute lie. That is not what the 4th Amendment says. Not today, not yesterday. Go back to 1793. The 4th Amendment says that no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation. The North Carolina Supreme Court sent the case back to the state of Court of Appeals. The North Carolina Court of Appeals found no error in the trial court's judgment. A dissenting judge, however, stated that the North Carolina Supreme Court ruling created fundamental unfairness because it held citizens to the traditional rule that ignorance of the law is no excuse. While allowing police to be ignorant of the law based on his dissent, Heen again applied to the North Carolina Supreme Court, which rejected his appeal. And then it got all the way up to the Supreme Court. So once the North Carolina Supreme Court rejected Heen's appeal, he then applied for certiorari, which is the right to have the case heard by the appointed oligarch's favorite people. And then here's the constitutional question of whether or not something is constitutionally viable or not. Does a police officer's mistake of the law provide individualized reasonable suspicion that the 4th Amendment requires to justify a traffic stop? Once again, the constitutional question is put into a paradigm of Terry versus Ohio. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that. Put a 1 in the chat if you know right now that the 4th Amendment never says reasonable suspicion. It's God blessed infuriating. It makes me so freaking angry. That is not what the 4th Amendment says. The 4th Amendment never, ever mentions the term reasonable suspicion. It was created in 1968, and now you'll see it in hundreds of Supreme Court cases where it's reasonably suspicious of you. Well, let me tell you something. I'm sitting in a parking lot. I was running out of time. I needed to talk to my people. So now I'm in a car and I'm talking to my computer. Well, you know what? We're reasonably suspicious that he's crazy. We're reasonably suspicious that he's communicating with other people to rob this building I'm in front of. We're reasonably suspicious that he has guns in his car. Reasonable suspicion is not a part of the 4th Amendment. That is a bald-faced freaking lie. It's so infuriating to read that. It is so infuriating. Let me just pop it in right here to ChatGPT. Please list the 4th Amendment of the United States. There it is. And let me show you exactly what I'm looking at. Let me show you exactly what I'm looking at on ChatGPT so that you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing right here. Let's finish this and I'll come back to the 4th Amendment. How about that? That way you guys can stay on the track here. So here's the constitutional question in Heen versus North Carolina 2014. Does the police officer's mistake of the law provide the individualized reasonable suspicion that Terry versus Ohio requires to justify a stop? Conclusion, 8-1. The only dissenting Supreme Court appointed by the oligarch personnel is Sotomayor. Bader Ginsburg voted for it. She's great, right? Scalia voted for it. He's great, right? Current Supreme Court Chief Justice, he's great, right? Stephen Breyer, Kennedy, these are liberals, right? Clarence Thomas, surely a staunch conservative, is going to say the 4th Amendment does not say that it's reasonably suspicious. It says probable cause. Nope, they all vote for it. So the question is, does a police officer's mistake of the law provide individual reasonable suspicion that the 4th Amendment required to justify a traffic stop? Yes. Yes, a cop can make a mistake. Chief Justice Roberts delivered the opinion in an 8-1 majority. The court held that the search and seizure is reasonable under the 4th Amendment when an officer has made a reasonable factual or legal mistake. Oh, really? Oh, really? Isn't that funny? Because for you and I, ignorance of the law is no excuse. But for the coppers, it's perfectly fine. Copper made a mistake, arrest his ass. The cop made a mistake, but they found contraband in his car, so now he has to go to jail. Even though he wasn't using the contraband, he wasn't smoking the contraband, he wasn't using those drugs, he wasn't on drugs, he just had them, and we criminalize drugs unless, of course, you have oligarchy money, and then you get your drugs from the pharmaceuticals. Unless, of course, you're Hunter Biden, you can have a gun and drugs and evade your taxes, and it's perfectly fine because you're the president's son. So you're just going to get a misdemeanor. You know, when I was arrested in 2002, I had this much of a substance that I used for bodybuilding. This much of a substance. This much of a substance. They charged
that
me
you were manufacturing and distributing?
Prosecuted me, and I beat those charges. You created the monster that I am today that will change this BS system. I guarantee you, we don't stop. Type it. We don't stop. The 4th Amendment standard is that no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation of the victim. It does not say that any old jackboot thug pig can say, I'm suspicious of you. That's not what the 4th Amendment standard says at all whatsoever. It's not even remotely close. The seizure is reasonable under the 4th Amendment when officers have made a reasonable or legal mistake. Because 4th Amendment jurisprudence turns on the question of reasonableness, governing officials have traditionally been allowed leeway to enforce the laws for the community's protection. Do you feel like it's for the community protection? Because the prison industry is just crazy. As long as the mistake of fact or law in question was reasonable, the Fourth Amendment does not hold such mistakes to be incompatible with the concept of reasonable suspicion. However, the court also held that those mistakes must be objectively reasonable. An officer cannot gain the benefit of Fourth Amendment reasonableness through a sloppy, incomplete knowledge of the law. So is that how it's going, or are they screwing us? Is that how it's going? Is that how it's going? Is it not a sloppy, ridiculous, their form of what reasonable is? Like I just said, I'm sitting in a parking lot right now. They could reasonably suspect that really I'm planning on robbing this place because you're in a high crime area and the sun's going down, Chili. Put your hands behind your back. Get on your knees. Get on your knees. I've decided in my little pea brain that I'm reasonably suspicious of you. You will get on your knees. Drop down and get on your knees. And that's what they say. Get on your knees. How many people have been told to get on their knees? How many people have been in the torture cuffs? Oh, Americana is in here. I do have money for your fundraiser.
That depends
said,
on
know that I
the
appreciate you more than Eric. Truly love you.
circumstances as to
Consider you
whether or
part
not
of the family.
someone would want
This
to
is
get on
Eric,
their knees.
whose fundraiser. Eric, I have at least
Just
$100
saying.
in donation.
What was that?
I said it would depend on the situation as to whether or not someone wants to get on their knees. Just saying.
Yeah, and Chili. When was the last time you asked a black man to get on his knees?
Yeah, that situation's not good.
Yep. Seems like you got in a little bit of trouble over that.
Coming in for your wheelchair right now. People who have Venmo'd me, Cash App me, PayPal'd me. So Eric, we have at least. You're the greatest person I've ever known. Man, that's I appreciate it, but I'm just one man doing the best that I can. I'm just. God bless you, Eric. I just didn't want.
Funny how he needs all this money
your
for a
comments to die
wheelchair,
because
but he
Eric
can
is
give
now
up
2 years ago was
donations
told to do live in a couple months.
to
And he told
Chili.
him, I'm not dying, and he's still kicking. And we're doing a fundraiser to raise the money for his wheelchair. So that's another thing. But I have at least $100 from Dan and from 2 super chats I missed on the last one. I have 2 super chats coming in from the last live we did for you, Eric. So I counted all the PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. I didn't count that super chat money. So okay, now let me get back to Heen, and I'm going to come back to you in 1 second, Eric. So an officer can gain, and this is so. Now, here's what Roberts wrote. However, the court also held that those mistakes must be objectively reasonable. An officer cannot gain the benefit of Fourth Amendment reasonableness through a sloppy or incomplete knowledge of the law. Is that not what's exactly happening, though? John Roberts wrote in the opinion exactly what is happening. They're using sloppy, incomplete knowledge of the law and saying they're suspicious of you. We just saw that with Pink Camera Magic. And that's the depositions of those 2 coppers that's gone viral. 1 million views, 2 million views on my channel alone. And that's Pink Camera Magic. Make sure you guys get over to her channel and subscribe. So then, and now here's where they're going to chime in the liberals with the conservative. Oh, so Justice Elena Kagan. Well, let me just tell you about Elena Kagan. Raised up on the Upper East Side in New York, super rich. Went to the best school ever, super rich. Went to the best college ever, super rich. Went to the best law school ever, super rich. This woman is an oligarch's dream. She just puts the liberal tag on herself, and then she
Jealousy
like
much.
that strips away your rights and my rights.
Yeah.
In her concurring opinion, in other words, agreeing opinion, Kagan emphasized that the majority opinion's analysis was limited to when the mistake of the law in question is an objectively reasonable one. Justice Kagan wrote that the test to determine whether an officer made an objectively reasonable mistake is more stringent than one to determine whether a government official is entitled to qualified immunity. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, racist, joined in the concurring opinion. Justice Sotomayor wrote a dissenting opinion in which she argued that the Fourth Amendment jurisprudence has traditionally focused on the actual factual conclusions rather than his understanding of the law. Expanding leeway allowed to police officers with respect to their factual assessments of the meaning of the laws they are meant to enforce runs the risk of eroding the Fourth Amendment's protections. In the absence of any evidence that holding police officers to the standard would prevent effective law enforcement of the law, mistakes of the law should not be considered reasonable under the Fourth Amendment. So that's Keene versus North Carolina. That is Heen versus North Carolina. And now I'm going to lose the light here. So let me just read to you the Fourth Amendment. So you heard how it's reasonable for them to make mistakes. Reasonable. What exactly is reasonable? And this was right here. Let me pull this up for you guys so you guys can see it. Let me see what you guys can see. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. So this says the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution protects citizens' rights from unreasonable searches and seizures. It states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause.
Okay. Unreasonable searches. That's where all the reasonable suspicion comes into fucking place, Chili. That word right there, unreasonable. Defining what unreasonable means in the terms of searches and seizures in this law is what bases Terry versus Ohio and so many other decisions.
Supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. This amendment emphasizes the importance of privacy and sets forth the conditions under which search warrants can be issued, requiring probable cause and a specific description of the place to be searched and the items to be seized. It serves as a crucial safeguard for individual rights and serves to balance law enforcement activities with the protections of personal property.
Excuse me.
Would you take a look at that, folks? The Supreme Court case in the United States established a reasonable suspicion in the landmark case of Terry versus Ohio. In this case, the court held that law enforcement officers may conduct a limited search known as a Terry stop if they have a reasonable suspicion that the person is involved in criminal activity and poses a potential threat to the safety of the officers or others around. Reasonable suspicion is a lower standard than probable cause, which is required for a full search or arrest. Is that what's happening though? No. It allows law enforcement to briefly detain and question individuals based on specific articulable facts that would lead a reasonable person to suspect that criminal activity is occurring. Since Terry versus Ohio, the concept of reasonable suspicion has been further refined and applied in various court decisions, shaping the legal landscape for law enforcement practices related to stops and searches. It provides balance between, no, it does not. You're such a liar, ChatGPT. Okay. How many cases use Terry versus Ohio as the jurisprudence?
He's arguing with an AI.
Oh, I misspelled it.
And losing.
Again.
Listing all the cases that use reasonable suspicion, Terry standard, for their holding. Providing an exhaustive list of all the cases that have utilized reasonable suspicion standard derived from Terry versus Ohio would be impractical due to the vast number of cases that have relied on the standard over the years. However, I can provide you with a selection of significant cases that have applied to Terry standard in various contexts. United States versus Sokolow. The Supreme Court held that the DEA agents had reasonable suspicions to conduct and subsequent search based on the defendant's behavior and travel patterns. So now your behavior and your travel patterns. Illinois versus Wardlow. The Supreme Court ruled that individuals' unprovoked flight from the presence of police officers in a high crime area created reasonable suspicion justifying a Terry stop. Hibble versus 6th Judicial District Court of Nevada, 2004. The Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of requiring an individual to disclose their name during a Terry stop as long as the requirement did not violate the individual's Fifth Amendment right. Florida versus JL, 2000. The Supreme Court held that an anonymous tip lacking indica of reliability standing alone did not provide reasonable suspicion for a Terry stop. United States versus Arzivu. The Supreme Court ruled that law enforcement officers may consider a totality of the circumstances, including innocent factors, to establish reasonable suspicion for a Terry stop. We could go on and on and on. Terry versus Ohio has created, it's abused coming from an ex-cop, but that's how we were trained. Looking back, I regret it all. Well, Mr. Seaborn, thank you for your commentary. I really appreciate it. And I'm turning a corner myself as I become more, I'm trying my best to see people as individuals, and I'm doing my best to be more loving and more accepting, because we have to change the system. But you can't send a weeping willow to Washington. So Terry versus Ohio has ruined our country. So listen, tomorrow night we do a fundraiser for Eric. Tomorrow night I'm going to ask you to pull your wallet out. I'm not asking for a lot of money. I'm asking for 5, 10, 15,
Can't send a weeping willow, so I guess he doesn't belong there.
From Chevy. I didn't read any names yet. I'm sorry. When I got in here, I was so rushed to get.
Yep.
The live. I didn't want to leave you guys waiting. We set a live for 7. So thank you for your comment. But we have to fight back against Terry versus Ohio. Did you read what ChatGPT said? The vast number of cases based on reasonable suspicion. And now in OYAs, they say the reasonable suspicion is the standard of the Fourth Amendment. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is not. There's no such thing as reasonable suspicion. Let me show you just one more thing.
What'd you find, Glober Mom?
Eric's YouTube channel.
Shuggy put it in private chat, Hank.
Okay.
There it is right there. There it is right there. I want to show this to you. So I just want you guys to see it. It's right here. I just want you guys to see it. I mean, you guys could just show me. Just let me know where you see that reasonable suspicion is in there. Here are some images of the Fourth Amendment right here. The Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Where does that say reasonable suspicion? I don't see it. What about this one here? The right of the people. The right of the people to be secure. Come on. Show me that bad chicken. Pull it up. Let me take a look at that bad chicken. The right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. You're going to see it time and time and time again. You'll see it continually, time and time and time again, that the Fourth Amendment is based on probable cause, not reasonable suspicion. The Fourth Amendment is based on probable cause where you have broken the law, not on some guy who went to an academy for 2 weeks and learned OTJ on the job over the next year, and then he can say he's reasonably suspicious of you, and the guy who's doing it doesn't have to have any knowledge of the law. According to Keene versus North Carolina, 2014, he can mistakenly say he had reasonable suspicion, investigate you, find reasonable suspicion, and then put you in torture cuffs and detain you. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So listen, to the people who donated Eric's wheelchairs tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we do Eric's wheelchair, same bat time, same bat channel. We only got a couple grand left to go on his thing, so tomorrow I'm going to ask you to pull out your wallet. Check my channel for when the live is going to broadcast. I'm going to look with Colin over at Delete Law's clips. We'll figure out the best time to go live tomorrow. I want to get the rest of Eric's money raised for his wheelchair. That's in my heart and in my soul, and we got to get it done. All right, I'm going to get the flock out of here. Thanks you guys for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate it. What are you doing to educate yourself about the Supreme Court laws that have stripped away your fundamental liberties? What are you doing to learn about it?
But Friday the Reaper, Chili is an empath. He said so on several occasions, so that must mean it's true.
Many case laws on my trifold, on my ebook, on my poster, do you know and have memorized? I've got hundreds of cases in my head memorized, so many that sometimes I can mistake one case for another. I mean, there's so many cases in my head. What are you doing to learn? You know, look, I have this trifold. Now, this is one of the older ones. I always keep a trifold in my car, always. And I gave away my last couple trifolds to people who've been pulled over. If you don't have every single case on my trifold memorized, why don't you? How come you don't? How come you don't? I don't understand. You should know every single case there is. Supreme Court law, because the Supreme Court's our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is the Supreme Court. All right, I gotta get the flock out of here. Thanks for coming, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Later, Gators.
God, he's annoying.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
American Eric and do it.
Are you pulling up his site?
Yeah, I can't because I'm on my phone. What is that noise?
I don't know.
Dan says, women, this is why you don't do meth while pregnant. Come on, women, do better.
Yeah. The only videos he has on his in his streamer is that little chihuahua.
Okay. She's not even an activist.
Yeah, remember DLZ, DLZ, isn't he? Or socially claims.
Yeah, they're not even worth watching. His channel is still not any proof of his condition needing a wheelchair. All right. Well, that's all the videos that we had prepared for tonight. So sounds like a pretty good time to wrap it up to me.
Okay.
So, you got anything else you want to put out, Shuggy?
No, thanks for having me up. Good stream tonight.
No problem. Jim?
Reallycoolsite.org, reallycoolsite.org. We'll have a write-up of Chili's whatever that was to begin with tonight.
Okay.
All righty, Becca?
No, just thank you all for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. I want to thank everybody for coming. Those on the panel, really want to thank you for showing up. And for those of you in the chat, thanks for showing. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. And bye now. Or happy learning. Bye now.
Everybody have a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day to have one. Goodbye.